In the shadow of desolation, there is a nation whose people teeter on the edge of law and lead. Should one desire a fortune out here, they'd best adopt the ambition of this land's heroes, whose wills are steel and hearts are fire.
We don't want to hurt any of you. We'd rather this go smoothly.
And I tried, and I realize now the irony of being a venomous snake.
I am not a gambling man. I'm just trying to do the best that I can.
I told you, I'm a thief. I might be petty, but I ain't no snitch.
So if you've got the grit for it, come ride with the Dugan Gang on the Heist of the Ebony Spear. Welcome back, listener. It's me again, Smiter Rasco. Hoping that you're having a good day, and hoping that you'll enjoy the next bit of this Gunslinger one-shot. We're going to settle back into the story. Great news, Dugan Gang. You got yourself a job offer, and on such a nice day, too. Although it was already starting to turn into a strange one, as you noticed that you were being followed as you were in town, and you took it upon yourselves to also pull down any wanted signs that you had seen of your gang, regardless of how accurately portrayed the gang member in the wanted poster was. Some people would argue that Furfoot's wanted poster took some stylized liberties with Furfoot's actual appearance. Some would say that it was exactly spot on. However, at the end of the day, you were approached by that stranger that you were all being followed by. He spoke mysteriously about his benefactor, somebody who refused to show themselves, but promised was nearby in a carriage. You, the Dugan Gang, have been asked somewhat formally, for the first time ever, to rob a train. Specifically, the Ebony Spear. Now, Dugan Gang, you have suffered traumas, you have suffered losses, and you have suffered broken friendships over the course of these long years of being together. But now, your leader, Dugan himself, admits that thanks to steady work here and there, smart savings, he candidly admits that with this job as a prospect, this could very well be the last step to going straight. Some of you don't know what that life looks like. Some of you have never known what it's like to go straight. Some of you don't know if you could ever go back to that sort of life. But now, tonight, as Dugan encourages the entirety of the gang to celebrate each other's company and to consider the future, those thoughts are beginning to creep back up that surely many of you had suppressed over the course of the years. Whether or not that makes your character comfortable or uncomfortable, hopeful, or even depressed is up to you. Dugan Gang, the evening has set in. Now the only lights in your entire camp are a community bonfire and the brilliant cosmos above you, with those subtle blues and even violets in the sky. You celebrate each other's company, and I would ask, as we go down the line, we're going to start with Samson. Mm-hmm. Samson, the evening is carrying on. It is warm, but beginning to cool. Mm-hmm. The sun is long gone down, and you find yourself full-bellied right after dinner. What do you do, Samson?
Well, Samson at the moment... So they just had dinner?
They just had dinner.
Well, Samson, first of all, is just seeing what the whole vibe of the camp happens to be at the moment. Mm-hmm. Is it jovial? Is it somber? Is it... Mm-hmm. It's probably a lot more jovial than it has been for a while.
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
Especially with some of the, we'll call it emotional conclusions that have come by earlier in the day, especially for you in regards to Dugan.
Mm-hmm. Samson's being pretty reserved at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing a lot of thinking, if I may.
Yes.
I'll allow the others to talk about what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
And then Sam will respond after everybody else has had a moment.
Okay. In that case, I will turn the attention towards you, Doc. Same setup. The evening is starting to cool. The atmosphere in the camp is lighter than it has been for quite a bit of time. I would ask, what is Doc doing?
Doc's hanging out. As much as he appreciates not being out in the blinding sun, every time it kind of cools down, being a Nagaji, he gets a little bit stiffer and sorer as the sun kind of drains away and kind of settles into his bones. And so he's kind of just moseying around a little bit, and he is really lost in his own thoughts because he's an older snake. He's an older man, and this has been his life for a long time, but when you're kind of running with a gang like this, you don't really expect to set your own ending. And now with Annie, I think he's got this kind of for the first time, this what's next, because he's got his own stuff. He's got his own things that he's somber about right now. He doesn't want to think about that. He doesn't want to think about what going straight would mean. He's really compartmentalizing that. But he's just going to kind of be watching Annie, and for the first time in a long time, kind of has hope. But he also knows that attachment is dangerous. It's one thing to get attached to the other gang members. They're all adults here. We trust each other, we lose each other, we win some, we lose some. But like a kid, even though this ain't Doc's child, no, but he's got to get Annie through this. And I think for the first time in a while, he's got something where he's like, no, shoot, I really need to stay around. Like, sure, the gang needs me, but I think Annie needs a little bit more than just a healer right now. Something that can be filled in by anybody. Like she might need a friend. That's kind of cracked Doc's little hard facade open a little bit. So he's going to be a little awkward about it, but he's just kind of watching Annie right now.
All right. You're watching Annie, and she's actually hanging out with Maribel and Carla, and the three of them are discussing her future as well. So even if you wanted to evade out of the topic, it's hard to, as it's the hot new thing to talk about amongst the gang. Even Spritz is in between the group of the ladies, and he's asking questions, albeit incredibly ignorant questions, like, what are you going to do with the egg? Do you have to sit on it all day? And do you know what color it's going to be? And despite the fact that Spritz is the only kobold in that group, Spritz is easily the most interested in these details. And it's pretty clear to you that it's strictly because Spritz has no clue and has never, up to this point, bothered to ask anything about how humans reproduce. So, while that's going on, I'm going to go ahead and turn the attention towards Furfoot. Furfoot, what are you doing this beautiful evening?
First question, is there food or has food already been eaten?
You're right. You guys already had dinner, and it was very filling.
I guess Furfoot's just checking on Zeke again. Furfoot, ever since they had that heart-to-heart down by the river, has just been with Zeke. I'm assuming that they've been passing stories off to each other, where Zeke has been talking about Tuck, and Furfoot's been talking about their brothers and sisters, because they had a lot of brothers and sisters growing up, because, cats, large litters, stuff like that. And this is sort of common knowledge. Furfoot's not necessarily ashamed to talk about how they were sort of the runt of the litter, but... Yeah. They and Zeke are just sharing stories, and assumingly have been all night since they got back.
I could see that, especially during dinner. Furfoot, you and Zeke were really bonding and connecting. There is a clear appreciation to you and to your presence that he expresses. And sometimes it's in the form of just giving you portions of his dinner that particularly look tasty to you, that he knows that you would appreciate, and vice versa back to him. At this point, as the fire goes on, Zeke is actually gonna take a pause while there's still a lot of elation going on. He's gonna inquire to you, Furfoot. Dugan talking about Sam needing to handle the plan for the next heist that we're going to be doing. Who do you think's going out there? Like, logistically, who do you think is going out on the train?
Furfoot sort of puts a paw to their chin, thinking for a moment, scritching at the fluff on their cheek.
Well, regardless of who's going out there or not, I'm definitely going with. Whether they say I can or not. I mean, do you think of all the money that's on that thing? We definitely gotta score ourselves some.
Oh, money's not my worry. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of money, but what I'm worried about is... And he gestures to the entirety of you, and he says, this.
That is a little suspicious. You have a fair point.
Look, I just want you to know that, like, you're the smallest one, right?
I guess that makes sense.
He says this without the sense of irony to his own words, as just a few feet off, Spritz is talking to the ladies, and he is objectively smaller than you.
Smallest in a practical sense, smallest in a useful sense, I suppose.
And he says, what about if it rains? You hate the rain.
Furfoot just sort of grimaces deeply as their ears, like, sink down a little bit, the brim of their hat going with it. It's just sort of a little bit of a grimace just even thinking about getting wet. Before they shake it off as if they did get wet.
Regardless.
Okay,
Regardless.
I don't want to hurt your feelings. I'm just saying that you heard that they were talking about, in order to get off the train, at the last stop to get off the train is off of a bridge into a river. Can you do that?
What, swim? I mean, I can, but I'm not gonna like it. I'm gonna find the way to get out of the water the fastest. Probably, I'll try my best not to neglect someone who may or may not be drowning in the water. If anyone does, I don't know if anyone else here knows how to swim. Or not, while also kind of glancing at Spritz. I don't think Furfoot knows if Spritz can know how to swim or not, but they're just assuming that he can't.
Zeke is actually going to follow where you were looking, and he's going to say, "Oh, him? Well, I doubt that. Well, regardless, I don't think he can swim.
Yes,
but
we're
that's
probably
not even the
taking
problem. The problem is that he won't stop reopening his wound. I mean, you know that makes Doc angry, right?"
See it all the time. I tell him to stop. Every time I catch him doing it, and I'm walking past him, I just bap him on the forehead. Just bap. And he doesn't stop it. He knows what I mean when I do it, and he still keeps doing it. It irks me a little bit as well, but I can't complain too much. I perpetually claw at myself. So I can't exactly, I can't say I'm immune from the things that he does, but I don't reopen wounds. Just neat at myself.
No, that's true. You do not reopen wounds, and he's actually going to rub your back at that one, sort of implying that he still appreciates what you did for him. And he's going to say, "Now that I think about it,
Yes?
I don't think Doc has ever not been grumpy.
Mhm.
Have you ever seen Doc smile?
I don't think I have, to be honest.
Can he
You
smile?
think there's... I mean, I'm sure it's a possibility, but what would?
At this point, Furfoot, you also notice that Zeke is just staring at Doc, squinting, and legitimately trying to put some brain power to this question.
Furfoot is going to mimic the same action, also squinting very deeply. They start kneading their thighs as they're sitting. They start kneading their thighs in concentration, also trying to use the last few brain cells that are currently awake in their mind to think.
With the pair of them, for no reason, staring down Doc, I'm going to go ahead and bounce over to Bass. Bass, how's the evening going for you? What are you up to?
Just in a moment of thought, just thinking about the promises I made to my wife and how I told her as she died laying in my arms that I would make sure to take care of that man who did what he did to our son.
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if I'm going to be able to complete it. But I'm going to do everything I can to break that promise to her. And Lord, if you're listening, let her know I'm going to try to continue to find a way to make him pay if she asks me to. She knows I didn't necessarily want to go down this road again. But for her, I'll go one last time to see if I can make it to the end. And I hope that by the time this is all over, there is a world for me to go back to. I don't know what that's going to look like right now. And that's the part that breaks my heart the most. Because I know what I have to become in order to do it. And I don't like that man. He was buried a long time ago. But now I got to bring him back from the dead to do this thing. Don't know if I'm ready to do that.
Let me ask you physically where Bass is in the camp. Again, this is a very loose structure, so feel free to fill in the gaps as you please.
Bass is just sitting by the campfire. He's just thinking. He's just sitting there with a stick. He's kind of watching it burn, but he's not paying as much attention to it probably as he should. He's just sitting there looking at it as he's thinking. He's kind of focused on the flame on the stick, but he's just kind of thinking these things.
Bass, while you're in there and you're in that meditative state of watching the flame and letting that sort of zen set into you, you start to feel a scratch on your back, like a little clawed hand, and you hear Spritz's voice saying, Hey, Bass, hey, Bass.
Yeah, Spritz. What's going on?
Hey, Bass. Hey, can you do me a flavor?
What would that be?
And he looks around, and he has this look on his face as though he's very proud at how cunning he is. He's gonna lean forward and he's gonna say, I bet you're gonna be on the train job tomorrow. I have an idea.
Okay.
You ready?
What's your idea?
And he holds up his hands as though he's gonna tell you something momentous. And when he does, his right arm recoils as it's still in the sling, and so he actually holds up, puts it back inside the sling, and so now he's only got one hand up. I'll go in your saddlebags. I'll ride with you.
What?
I don't know if that's such a good idea. I mean, you're pretty hurt there.
Oh, only a little bit. Doc said that it's gonna need a month to heal, and that was like 3 months ago.
Yeah, but you wouldn't mess with that a bit since then.
You say like I'm not like putting my finger in the gun hole or anything like that. I'm just moving my arm around. Look, can you tell Doc? Look, listen. Can you tell Doc to just? What is it that the little humans do when like they're sick, but then they get a note to say that they're okay?
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I mean, you're not a child.
Surprised by you putting your foot down like this.
I mean, Doc told you needed to take care of yourself. Now, if you want to go talk to Doc, be a man and talk to Doc.
He looks across the way over.
Figure that out.
He looks across the way over at Doc, who looks more serious than they have in a while. I don't think I'm gonna do that.
I guess you better figure out what you're gonna do then.
But no, that's the thing. I know what I'm gonna do. I'll just ride with you guys.
No, you ain't riding with me. You ain't getting me in trouble with Doc over you. You must have lost your mind.
And then he's gonna squint. All right, Bass.
All right then.
And he's gonna go ahead and walk away.
All right.
I'm going to go ahead and circle back to Samson. Sam, what are you up to?
Well, Sam's been thinking and contemplating about what's been said here, but he's been letting the conversation just kind of go as it is, as he has been thinking and planning. At about this point, he kind of stands up. I assume there's still kind of a low murmur going on.
Yeah.
And so, is it cool if I just kind of make up some of the names of some of these locations? Or did you have them already written out?
Oh, yeah, go ahead. I think I see where you're going.
Yep. Sam stands up and he says, well, we've got a plan for tomorrow. And I think it's high time we settled on what it is that we're doing.
Spritz raises his hand.
Yes, Spritz.
I'm going, right?
We'll see. You probably noticed it's just like a quick eye glance, just really quick over to Doc. It says, we'll see. But he says, now, as Dugan here said, this could very well be the last time we ever need to do one of these. And if I'm honest, I'm hoping that it is. So, my question is, everybody, and I assume every left of the gang has returned and
they're
is
all
back.
there.
Here's my plan. And he pulls out some rocks and some sticks and just starts making a little map in front of him so that everybody can kind of see as he's explaining.
This is the part of the movie where they have that soft wipe into a map canvas.
Yes.
Where we actually see the train on the map.
Yep. Fairly early in the morning, the train is going to be coming through here near Dule Hill. That is our opportunity to ride up behind it, get on the caboose, and work our way forward. Now, as we heard from that nice, well-dressed gentleman that we met earlier, the train itself has plenty of wealthy people that we can rob from. The main goal, obviously, emotions at the more front part of the train. Not all the way in the front, but closer to the front. The important stuff is stored here. It's going to be probably a little bit of a fight. We should expect some resistance, but with enough forethought and know-how, we should be fine. Doc, I'd highly appreciate it if you wouldn't mind setting up a few health potions for this, as it could get nasty. Now, the plan here is, we set up near Dule Hill. As the train gets close, we ride up to the train, land on the back. We're gonna need people to take our horses so that they don't get lost or hopefully not get hit by anything. So we're gonna need people riding with us. I will be leading the group into the train. Doc, Furfoot, Bass, could I call on you to join me and the train itself?
I'll go with you.
Furfoot sort of just looks over to Zeke with the biggest smile on their face. Not a smile of cockiness, but a smile of pure awe. They genuinely were not expecting to be called upon. Before they just immediately get to their feet and scamper over sorry. Yes, I would love that. I would love to be of assistance.
Excellent.
Spritz over on the distance goes, oh, come on!
Now, hold on, Spritz. You still have a job to play in this.
Yeah!
Now, what I'm suggesting here is that as we are on the train, I need Annie and Maribel.
Yep.
You guys will be taking our wagons and the rest of the horses with you down to the edge of the Milani River. That is where our meetup will be. And he makes a big circle as to the relative location of where he wants them to set up. Zeke
stands up, ready to receive orders.
Carla
nods.
Spritz.
He said, yeah.
Dugan
smiles at you.
You will be riding with us, the train team, and you will ride with us and then steer our horses after we've leaped onto the train, and then meet us here at the rendezvous point on the Milani River.
Spritz goes, oh. And Carla says, it's fine enough work. You'll be fine.
Yeah, if you're lucky, Spritz, you'll get shot again, as some people will see us coming.
Zeke goes, ah! And Spritz goes, they wouldn't shoot me again. And his eyes narrow. I'm too fast.
Doc just rolls his eyes.
Carla, you'll be riding with Bass.
Can do.
Zeke, you will be riding with Doc.
Can do.
Spritz, you get a ride with your best friend Furfoot.
Yeah.
Dugan, ride with me.
He smiles, nods, and he says, can do, son.
Now for the rest of us, Our goal here is to get through the train, get whatever treasure it is that we're looking for, and then ride it out until we reach the Clayton Bridge located here. This is where Clayton Bridge is right directly over the Milani River. That is our opportunity to jump out of the train, allow it to continue, and then, well, we'll ride the rapids for a little bit. Thankfully, it's the time of year when it's really not that bad. It'll be a pleasant swim.
Yeah, knowing where the season is right now, it's actually very calm. It's a pretty popular spot to go adrift in.
Mm-hmm. It's rather lazy river time, thankfully. Now, if for some reason we are having difficulties getting through the train quickly, we may need to get up to the engine and slow it down enough for us to get off. If we somehow miss the Milani River, we must get off the train before it reaches its destination. We do not want to have to take on any armed forces.
That makes sense.
Now, are there any questions from anyone?
You see that for a lot of the gang, they're sort of chewing on the details, and they don't seem to be that worried about these other parts. Zeke says, I feel like at this point, we're good enough to improvise in the event that something happens, right? What's the worst that's gonna happen? And then Spritz says, dragon.
Furfoot immediately covers Zeke's mouth.
Listen, I'm not a superstitious kitty, but do not jinx us. Do not jinx us.
And they're starting to speak through laughter as well. They know that they sound ridiculous, but they're still,
Do not jinx us. Do not jinx us.
The rest of the gang is appreciate that, and they all start kind of laughing too. Spritz is gonna say, no, really, like, a dragon I think could probably be the worst thing that could happen.
Sam says, I imagine that would be the worst, but around here, as far as I know, we don't really have very many dragons. But to be absolutely fair to young Spritz, there is a greater than 0% chance that that could happen.
Our question is, where would a dragon even fit in a train in the first place? Now, I don't know many small dragons.
I'm not.
I mean, it feels like if a dragon showed up, the train would be a bigger threat.
I'm not certain that that's what Spritz was meaning. Unless that's what you were meaning, Spritz. On the train?
I was thinking inside the train.
Very unlikely.
Long pause. Like everybody is realizing, oh, he thought there was a dragon in the train. And his only point of reference is the biggest dragon you can think of.
Mm-hmm.
Like in one of the cabins that suddenly bursts out.
Mm-hmm. Now, we have different horses that we could take on this mission. I will be offering Mocha, as Mocha has been the most reliable, at least in my part. Doc, Furfoot, Bass. Is it alright if we use Wing, Blaze, and Ashes for this?
Furfoot nods.
Excellent. That means the rest of y'all's horses, and he points to the rest of the group, need to make sure that Annie and Maribel get them to the location where we need to meet up. I think we've nailed down the hardest bits.
Dugan's actually gonna come over and step and put his arm around you and face the group.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna say, I think it's a finer plan as any, son. Dugan Gang.
Yes, sir.
I think this might be one of our finest hours.
Hey, here.
I want all y'all to know, no matter what happens tomorrow, this family, as long as one of us stands, will persevere.
Here.
I love you all.
All right, then.
Love you too, sir.
Appreciate that, kindly.
Mm-hmm. And he actually kind of invites everybody to be part of a big group hug.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Furfoot immediately runs over and joins in.
Furfoot, you find yourself and Spritz closer to the center of this, so you guys are being squeezed on the inside. I would say Carla, being as tall as she is, her, Bass, and Doc are more on the outside of this big group hug that's going on. And I'm gonna say, with that last little bit of encouragement, everybody enjoys drinks for the rest of the night. Dugan encourages you guys to not drink too hard because you've got a big job in the morning.
Sam definitely is like maybe a shot.
Yeah. Enough to get loose, to have a good time, and you all rest for the evening. And what a cool, peaceful evening it is. Nothing but small insects to provide the musical backdrop for your rest. And then, just as quickly as it crept in, just as quickly as the day left, it now comes back, and it's a new morning. Fresh smell of dew and grass are what wake you up. Maribel, in her excitement, gets up before the rest of you guys, cooks a hearty breakfast of bacon, eggs, sausage, to make sure that you're all going to have the energy that you're going to need. And she cooks a lot. She encourages you not to overeat. Some of you can't help yourselves. It's just your nature. And
Feeling particularly called out here.
Dugan, Zeke, and Carla help everybody get loaded up, and now the gang is on their horses, collected their wagons, cleaned out camp. They are all traveling together as a family along back roads, along rough trails that have at this point become second nature to you all. The sun creeps up higher up into the sky, turning that pale blue of the morning into that deep cerulean with pure white peppered clouds. It's a nice morning. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day to rob a train. Half the party breaks off to make their way down to the river and wait. Those that are necessary to catch the horses ride with you four. As you break through a thicket of trees and crest on top of a hill, you see it. Off in the distance, cutting through the smooth valley, the train tracks. And far off to your left, the silhouette chugs ever forward. Silhouette of industry, progress. That is the future, ladies and gentlemen. And it is traveling very fast. But this isn't
How fast are we talking?
Fast enough to warrant a horse. Fast enough that poor little Furfoot could never catch it, even if they ran on all fours.
God damn it.
You four cut a striking silhouette on this foreground, this glorious nature shot around you. Even small insects buzz about your ears, but don't seem to touch you, as though to have some sort of reverence for this significance of this moment. And now, 8 riders wait on a hill, watching this train move along its track, waiting for Samson to give the call.
All right, everybody, make sure you have everything that you need while you're on the train. When he says that, he reaches inside of his pack and pulls out a small case. It's a very small bullet case. Mm-hmm. And he opens it up and sees that he only has 3 alchemical cartridges left inside. And he closes it and just says under his breath, I just hope that's enough.
Yep. Oh, actually, almost forgot. Doc, I'm going to need a check from you.
The first roll!
The first roll! I'm going to need a crafting check from you. This is going to be you spending a little bit of time the night prior and a little bit in the morning crafting up health potions for everyone.
Much appreciated. I'm almost certain something's going to happen.
8, not too bad. Fortunately, I made the DC kind of low. So I'm going to say everybody go ahead in your inventory and add 1 potion of minor healing. I'm going to also reward something from older versions of Pathfinder and D&D that I think Catherine's going to recognize. I'm actually going to distribute you guys hero points. So after you are done adding the potion to your inventory, everybody is going to get 1 hero point. And what that allows you to do is that at any time, you could choose to re-roll a DC 20 check. Or you can use it to automatically save completely save on any of the saves that you need to do. And I am specifically rewarding, for the sake of the listener, I am specifically rewarding a hero point to Furfoot for going out of their way to make sure that Zeke is okay and to get him out of that rut. Doc, you're getting a hero point specifically for how you handled Annie's situation and the news of her pregnancy. Bess, you are getting a hero point specifically for how you handled the storekeeper and how you tried your best to lure her attention away from your friends. Samson, I'm going to give you a hero point for stepping up and putting the plan together. So if everyone's got that on out of the way, we'll go ahead and move forward.
For those who are at home, in-game, we've been staring at the same gray square for all of last recording and up to this point, and I need to see the train. I need to see it.
I must see train.
I'm gonna go insane. I need it.
Sorry, I interrupted you earlier, bro, while Samson was observing the train approaching.
Yeah, he was just making sure that all of that was good. The night prior, he wanted to talk with Doc, but that's a talk that can happen later.
Mm.
It could even happen on the train, which I think would be even more appropriate somehow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sounds good.
In the middle of combat, it's just really dramatic, like in a Hollywood movie.
Always. All right, Dugan Gang. Samson gives the gang the go-ahead.
Yes, sir.
It looks like a good opportunity to strike forward, and we are going to change pages.
Right.
Go ahead and click on Heist of the Ebony.
I'm very excited.
Where's Bass going?
Oh no.
Bass. Where'd you run off?
I was
He got
trying
off
to
the train.
scroll.
I gotcha.
He got off the train.
All right.
It's fine.
So, Dugan Gang,
Yes, sir.
with a little
Yes, sir.
bit of hooting and hollering and whooping, you shoot down the hill. It's enough to build up momentum and build a thunderous roar of hooves underneath you. Dust kicks up like a cape behind a great warrior, prepping himself for battle as you ride down somewhat gallantly into this valley. Getting closer to the train, you could start making out details of the carts. Some are open air, and you would be able to see inside of them were you not coming down at an angle. Some of the carts are fancier than others. Closed up windows, many of them. You get closer to the caboose, and you see on the back end the caboose's entry point for staff and other workers of the train. Riding on up, I want everyone to give me a ride check.
Ride check incoming, sir. 9 for Sam.
All right, 20.
Natural.
Natural 20 for Doc. 9 for Sam. 19 for Furfoot. 21 for Bass.
Oh, Sam was
Heck
the only one who
yeah.
didn't do so good that one.
He's trying to direct everybody else. He's got to multitask really hard, and it's also downhill. Leave my man alone.
This is to determine how you get onto the back of the train. Remember, you're all riding on horses.
Yes.
Logistically speaking, this is going to be tricky. The thunder of your approach to this caboose, albeit gallant, may not be as, shall we say, flawless of an approach as it could have been. You all pull up your horses to the back. Furfoot, Zeke reaches over, holds up his hands for the reins. You pass it over to him. He's now holding on to your horse and his horse, and you're able to prop yourself up on top like a proper kitty, and then do a full body jump onto the back of the caboose. Go ahead and place yourself here.
And I, of course, land on my feet, as all good kitties should.
You land on all fours.
And brush
Bass?
off a little dust.
Oh, yeah, Bess, by all means, go ahead. But just know that I want you to place yourself right here.
Now, Ashes, I'm gonna need you to do that thing we do. And so Bass kind of starts to pull himself to the center of the saddle and gets both of his feet onto the center. Ashes continues to ride, and he just kind of gets in a position to where he can kind of not really jump off, but kind of transition from the level where Ashes is to the edge of the train, the car. and then he kind of skips across. More so that like he just kind of goes and like his foot gets on there. He grabs the rail real quick to make sure he can stabilize himself, and then gets on the edge.
Well done. Go ahead and put yourself on the train. Doc, you were flawless in your execution. You were able to approach the caboose and actually find a way to hook your tail onto a nearby bar for support, and just gently slide yourself onto the caboose. Well done. And I'm going to ask you to go ahead and place your token right here. Samson, it's a little embarrassing, but with extra support from Dugan, he actually kind of holds the reins with one hand and pushes your back to sort of give you an extra lift and launch you onto the train. Go ahead and place yourself there. And now, the four that were accompanying you guys, Dugan gives them a signal, and they all break off to the right. They all wave at you, and they tell you that they'll see you guys soon. And Dugan says, if I sense any trouble, I'll be back for you.
Don't wait up. We'll be fine.
And they break off. Now, the only thing between the four of you that you're able to hear is the sound of the train itself on the tracks. Take a moment to quickly check your weapons. Make sure that they're loaded. Double check, triple check. You've already done it before you left.
Sam loads a bullet into his gun.
A single bullet?
A single bullet.
All right, copy that.
Make sure,
all right, Dugan Gang.
Make sure to load all the stuff up in his 6-shooters. Make sure they're fully chambered and ready to go.
Awesome.
Bass takes the opportunity to be like, all right, everybody, pull your bandanas up. And he takes the
Furfoot
bandana from around his
scruffles the
neck and
fluff on their cheeks into the
pulls it up over
bandana.
his face.
Oh yeah, for Furfoot, you basically have to like shove your fur into the bandana.
Yeah, no, my fur has to go into the bandana before I can even consider pulling it up. But once it's up, can I actually make a stealth check for this, just so I am stealthing?
Oh yeah, if you guys want to try to do a stealth
I
check
was
right
gonna-
now,
I
by
was
all
gonna say
means.
let's all see about like stealthing for now.
Nice! Thank you. That's not even... Okay, I rolled a 24, which is like...
Roll the 14.
I
Nice.
rolled a 10, but because of all my bonuses, I have a plus 14 in stealth. So it's... Oh.
Ooh.
Natural one.
Oh,
for
no.
Bass.
Oh no.
Okay, I'll let you know how that plays out.
Excellent.
Oh no!
So,
Look, everybody
one
put a roll
When he
hot,
says
all right?
that.
One more thing, I'd like to express a point of thank you to our mutual friend May.
Yes.
She was kind enough to paint and color the train for us. Jingles was kind enough to draw it up for us. So all the line work and stuff, that's Jingles, and then all the colors is May.
Thank you, May.
Thank you,
Thank you,
May.
Jingles.
Thank you, May. Thank you, Jingles.
Since we are not in combat, Dugan Gang, what would you like to do?
Well, since that roll did not go so well in the land of the stealth department for me, I'm wondering if at some point I might be able to get some disguise of some kind available, if kind of roll for it now, but you know, if there's somebody, say, in the first couple cars that may look like a security person or a ticket holder, ticket checker, something like that, I'd like to see if it'd be possible to do that.
We'll see. We'll see when we get to it.
So Doc says, right, I'm gonna...
Sam.
Sorry, Sam says. Sam and Doc, 3 letters.
Mr. Holiday.
Mr. Holiday. Samson. I'll just say Samson. Sam is too short now.
Yeah.
Samson says, right, I'm gonna plop myself, and he points right here next to the door. Doc, you stay there and have your rifle trained in that direction. Furfoot, get on the other side. Bass, open the door. Be so kind.
Oh, I'm gonna open the door. Okay. Hold on just a minute. I'm on my way.
No,
Or
Doc,
they
you,
basically flatten themselves.
Doc, you stay here. Right?
Well,
All right.
So that you have a
Flatten
straight
themselves.
shot at anybody that might be watching. Your gun
Oh.
ready. And as Sam makes sure to unsheath his gun and have it at the ready.
As Furfoot does the same, still
he's,
pretty much
he's
flat.
doubling up.
No, just his gun.
Okay, just his gun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pulls his gun out at the ready.
All right. If I remember correctly, whenever you're ready, Will, I think all you have to do is just click on that door icon.
All right. Well, let me click it.
There you go.
Can't see
Door's
nothing.
Can't see nothing.
open.
Can't see crap, Captain.
You're not at the most advantageous position. I would
too
say
flat
when
for
he
this.
opens the door, and since Doc has already got their rifle trained down the hall, Doc, why don't you go ahead and give me a perception check?
16.
Ooh, pretty good.
Okay. Doc, the hallway is tight, but it is illuminated as it is a closed space. Notice there are a couple of lanterns hanging above from the ceiling, but over here in one of these nooks, it looks like a pair of boots are sticking out. Specifically, they're a pair of boots, one on top of the other, as though someone is reclining in there. All right, gang, what do you do?
Which room is that you mentioned?
You don't see it.
Okay.
Furfoot's going to look over to Doc, seeing that his eyes are now trained on something.
So, anything?
Saying that, haven't been a tight-knit gang for a while, that we have a couple of signals for, like, hey, there's a person or whatever, and Doc's gonna give the, like, hold up, I see someone, like, and then kind of just give the, like, shush, because it does, we haven't aggravated anybody yet. He's gonna make sure that both Furfoot, Bass, and Sam, like, see that, like, hey, there is somebody in there.
Furfoot's going to go back to just barely peering over. Once again, basically entirely flat, but you can only really see the top of their hat and their ears and their eyes poking out, with their gun just carefully hidden in front of them.
Since Bass has opened the door, Bass decides he's gonna pull out his other gun now, and where will we advise further signals so that way I can get an idea on the map where I'm looking here?
Based off of what Doc was sharing with you, you're getting the impression that over in this nook, somebody's there.
Well, I'm the first one in, so I'm gonna try to see if we can do this quietly. So I guess since I'm already in and the door is open, we're gonna try to walk our way up this way with our guns in hand. It's about right here.
Copy that.
Sam will be following very closely behind.
Alrighty. Go ahead and put yourselves into position however you want.
Doc's gonna kind of nod for Furfoot to take the next position. He's gonna follow up in the last. He's gonna take the end.
Furfoot is very low to the ground. They're just very slowly walking. They're on essentially all fours, but they're trying to sort of do a little bit of a balancing back since they're still holding their gun in one hand. So they're essentially walking on three paws, but still being very, very stealthy about it.
Of course.
As one should be.
As one should be. Alright. Check it out, gang. Pushing down this hallway. It's obviously tight enough to require a one-on-one at a time. You could sure squeeze past each other, but it's not going to be comfortable. Bass, coming around this corner, you see, sure enough, there are the pair of boots that were pointed out to you before. And wouldn't you know it, they're attached to a person.
Okay.
And this person actually appears to be human and propped up inside of this nook with a chair. They're leaned back into the chair. Their head is down, their arms are crossed, and they are snoring. You could tell just by coming up to them, you could see that they've got a pair of pistols on their hips. And as far as you can tell, no badge. So they're leaning up and lying there, and you're walking on up. You got your two pistols drawn. And when you do, and as you're coming on up, you see, oh, it's not that big of an issue. You actually physically shrug and turn around to the group. But when you do, your arms are still out, and thanks to that natural one that you got, you accidentally knock off the dude's hat, and he begins to bleary-eye, squint, and blink in your direction, and when he does, he goes, well, who are you supposed to be?
I would say we're the entertainment, but that's not quite accurate for who we are. Now, we're here to do a very specific job. There's no need for anybody to be alarmed or anybody to be hurt. Nothing specific's happening. We're just gonna walk on the train and do what we gotta do and leave.
Bass, why don't you go ahead and give me a bluff check? All right.
Bluff, 19.
Good bluff. All right, I'm gonna roll to see if he can pierce through the veil of your lie.
Bass, who are you talking to?
Right home, there's somebody up there. I'll explain everything.
There's what?
Who's he talking to?
There's somebody up here.
Somebody up here.
He says there's a
Hang
guy.
on just a moment. There's somebody.
All right, here we go. Okay, that'll be a total of 3.
Nice.
He's gonna look at you, he's gonna rub his eyes, and he's gonna be all like, well, it's obviously above my pay grade, so whatever it is that you're doing, they've already hired enough hands, I thought, but what do I know? And then he leans over, picks up his hat, puts it back on, pulls the bill down, and he says, "Depart from me!"
All right. Thank you kindly, sir.
And he, now grumpy this time, says, "Depart from me."
Departing?
As Sam goes by, he just kind of makes note of him. He'll be like, and he kind of just shrugs and is just like, all right. Because Sam thought he was going to have to take care of some business,
He
but
thought he was going to have to take a grown man life.
that's all right. And he will just continue moving forward.
Furfoot, is almost trying to subtly hide the gun in their hand. So as they're walking by, they just give a tiny little downwards nod, still on all fours. And I'm just imagining the hilarious irony of just saying, oh yeah, there's a cat going by. Why does that cat have a gun? Who gave the kitty cat a gun? And it's just really funny.
That is funny. Unfortunately, he doesn't even bother to look up from his bill as he hears something moving past him, and he lazily moves his hand to just tell you, keep moving.
Up here.
Yeah, Sam motions
Doc
for
certainly-
Doc to move forward.
Yeah, Doc's certainly not going to look a gift horse in the mouth there. He's going to keep his hat low and just keep on. We've already attracted enough attention. We'll just keep on moving.
I think Will opened the door there
Yeah,
for a second.
Will didn't wait for you.
Yeah, I thought we were ready to go. Sorry.
Dugan
That's what the
Gang,
train
go
was.
ahead.
We pretend we do not see it. Now we see it.
All right. The next compartment that you guys walk into, you could see that there are well-worn wooden seats here. Opens back up to the fresh air. You could tell that this is probably the space where they keep all of the, air quotes, help.
Mm.
And then, of course, over on the far side, you see the door. Another one closed to the next train cart.
Right. Let's do this again, just like last time.
All right. I'll come on up there.
And
Everybody ready?
you know what? I'm going to ask Bass if you'd like, since the encounter just now worked out as well as it did, if you would like, feel free to re-roll a stealth check.
Reroll a stealth check. I'm on it.
Can the rest of us keep ours?
By all means.
Okay, good. I'm sticking with my 24.
Yep.
I am floor cat now. That is my purpose.
Okay.
I was worried about
All
it.
right. Wow.
I was
another
worried
natural
about
one.
it.
A second time on stealth. I am sticking out like an old. I'm literally sticking out like an old man. Like the old man shows up. Hi. How y'all doing, Jared?
I was internally thinking about it too. I was like, there's no way it's gonna happen again, right?
There's no
What
way.
if it did? But what if it did? It
Okay.
happened again. Oh
Bess,
no.
you feel like you're doing your best to hide as well as you can.
Y'all ready for me to open this door?
Furfoot gives a tiny little nod.
All right, cracking it open, you can see that there is an open air cart this time. This is probably used for storage of larger items, sometimes freight. Also, sometimes private industries will store their wares here as well. Sometimes just personal journeys across the countryside, people will store some of their bigger items here as well, such as luggage. Here, you could see 3 men milling about, looking out to the north and to the south as though they're watching the horizons. It's hard to tell what all they have on them. I'm gonna ask, since Bass, you're there first, go ahead and give me a perception check. Unfortunately, it's a little too far and the sun is glaring a little too hard off of shiny surfaces for you to tell exactly what these guys are equipped with.
Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Hey guys, we got three people over there. Now I can't see much of what's going on with what they have on them or nothing, but I can see we got 3 people in here that we're coming up on. So if we get in here, we need to get behind something pretty quick. There's a couple of boxes right as we go through. So we want to run there as quick as possible so that way we can make sure to outflank somebody, at least get some cover. Lord knows my ability to sneak around has not been going all right. My sciatic been acting up all day.
My sciatica. Now y'all know I got that lumbago.
Lumbago, right?
Furfoot's good just going to gently, like, they're still pretty close to the ground. They're basically ground level on all fours. They just gently claw at the pant leg of Bass. They're just clawing at Bass's pant leg.
Want me to take a look?
You know what? That may not be a bad idea before we open this door.
Whoever is over there hasn't noticed us yet.
Before you guys switch positions, go ahead and put yourselves back.
Oh, my bad. I accidentally closed the door. My bad. My tail hit the door. It's fine.
Because trains, when you have no roof and you have no walls and you're exposed to the wind and the elements, trains are loud.
Yes.
And so when Bass gives you guys this information, he actually has to turn and basically yell it at you guys. And while he's doing that, I'm going to say that the 3 gentlemen that he has spotted, they all turn, and this fella over here,
Oh, I cannot see.
one of the fellas to the side, I'm going to say Furfoot and Samson, you guys could hear it, but you can't see him. You hear him saying, "Hey, there's not supposed to be anybody back there. Like, come on over here. Show us who you are."
Furfoot just sort of grimaces for a moment, thinking of everything that's about to happen.
And
so I guess since they know we're here, let me try to see if I can work some verbal magic on them.
Well, you were so successful last time, so I'm putting all of my faith in you.
Furfoot is very against this idea and is like clawing, like almost starting to tear a little bit of a hole in Bass's pants, and realizing that yelling is of no use. For some reason, let's just say out of character, they had held on to the wanted poster in their bag, and so they're digging through their bag that they have on them, and they pull out the wanted poster and gesturing to the big wanted letters on the poster and gesturing to everyone else, they gesture their hand to the doorway outside of the cart, referencing the people outside, gestures back to the group, and then makes a slash motion across their neck, basically saying, "We're wanted. If they recognize us, we're dead."
Well, they already know we're here. It's not like we can just stay back here until they come in, because that's gonna make the situation worse, though.
Bass,
Furfoot face
they know
palms.
you're here.
I'm aware of that. That's why I'm going out there to try to...
Hold on now.
Sure.
Here's what we're gonna do.
"Hey, fella, you better come on out of there."
This is what's gonna happen. Doc, the closest one, any that you have a shot on, if they try anything, you fire into them. Furfoot, they don't know you're here yet. Pick one, just in case anything happens. Bass, you and we're gonna have a little chat. If anything happens, be ready for anything. And
Yes, sir.
Sam will sheath his gun.
All right.
Yep.
I'm going to say, team, go ahead, place yourselves on the back of this cart right here, no farther than this square. You can go ahead and put yourself on it, but no farther.
I'm gonna do here.
Go ahead and arrange yourselves however you wish. And while you're moving, I'm going to have the bad guys do a perception check to see if they see you little sneaky ones.
Oh no.
How nice does this map look, guys?
It looks
I
very
like
nice.
it.
I actually really like it.
May did an incredible job at doing it. I just want to say, just a little praise all around. Smiter designed the train. I did the inking for the train, and our friend May colored it.
Thank you to you 3.
So much united front.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just hope you guys enjoy it. Now, on to the situation. At this point, the 4 of you move into the positions that you can. Furfoot, where you're at, there's a big ol' waist-high chest. You're easily able to put yourself behind it. Doc, near you, there is a waist-high crate. You're able to put yourself behind that as well. Samson, Bass, when you guys come on out, at this point, it's not just this fella here, but also his 2 other companions that are now turned, and they're beginning to train their guns at you. You could see that the fella in the back has a shotgun, the guy in the front has a rifle, and the fella in the middle, to the farther north of the cart, has a pistol.
Okay.
At this point, they are not training their weapons on you, but they do have their hands on the weapons, making it obvious that they're ready just in case of anything. The fellow with the rifle is the first to speak up, and he says, "All right, which one of you has got train papers?"
We were actually sent here to get some messages over to the cooking staff, because I noticed the workbench and everything back there, and we were trying to go through it and get some information to the cooking staff about a particular dietary change for several of the people that are on board. And so we were trying to get on and do what we needed to do there, and then immediately go back home so we can be with our families for the remainder of the day. But unfortunately, I think we got a little turned around.
The fellow with the rifle squints at you and he says, "Dietary change? What the hell kind of thing is a dietary change?" The fellow with the pistol behind him says, "You mean like peanuts?"
Well, I mean more like some people prefer some different type of alcoholic beverages with their meals.
Nah, I knew about that peanut allergy thing. I can't have peanuts.
There is also a thing about peanut allergies with some of the folks on here.
Bass,
Is that a bluff?
give me a bluff check.
I will attempt to assist him with this.
Aid another.
I will aid another.
Yeah.
And so I get to also do a bluff check, but the way I do it is I say, "Now, we were looking at the supplies out in the caboose, and I have to say that this is some shoddy keeping of foods here. Somebody put the meat with the dairy, and that is unacceptable." Now, we need to go and talk to the ones up front about this travesty of storage space that has been done here. So if you'll excuse us, and I will go ahead and
Do
a
it.
bluff check myself.
All you gotta do is get above 10.
What?
You got a 25.
Bass got a 21 and Samson got a 25. Yeah, I think we fooled them.
I would say that Samson, thanks to your aid another and how high you rolled, you gave Bass a +2 to his total.
Yay.
So he's got a 23. Let's see if you actually convince these guys.
Oh dear.
And he folds his arms all like in a huff.
Yeah, well, I'm in a position of authority. All right, they're gonna attempt to sense motive on you guys.
Yeah, good luck.
Nobody senses my motives.
Ain't no man alive that can sense my motives.
Along the heavy click-clack of the carts and the breeze of morning air, the three guards look at each other with confusion. The one that had the pistol says, "Oh, no, I know about that. Yeah, they say you can't do that. Something about the dairy infects the meat."
Yeah, I thought the people around these parts worshipped Iomedae, and I'm pretty sure that is one of the, dietary restrictions.
And the guy with the pistol says, yeah, I heard that too. And he actually holsters his pistol.
Cool.
He actually just takes his hands off his pistols and he's crossing his arms like he's agreeing with you. The fellow with the rifle takes his rifle and he actually rests it against his hip. He doesn't put it away. And he says, "I didn't think anybody had dietary restrictions." And then the fella in the back with the shotgun says, "You can't restrict food. Food is food. Ain't nobody ever had this sort of stuff before, okay?"
I was also going to attempt the bull crapping of the guards. Furfoot just very slowly peeks their head up from the crate and just slowly lifts their hand and says,
I have dietary restrictions.
Furfoot, I will say that if you decide to do that, then you will be foregoing your stealth.
"That's fine. I don't
Okay.
care. This is way too good of an opportunity to pass up." They're like, "There's no dietary restrictions." Slowly raise his hand.
I have a dietary restriction. I can't have milk. I'm lactose intolerant. So having the
Furfoot?
meats be touching of the dairy could hypothetically be very bad for me. So we gotta complain about that.
So
We've had
Furfoot-
complaints about that from other people like me who can't have milk.
Very good. You stick out your big fuzzy paw. You let them know about your regrettable situation in regards to dietary restrictions. How unfortunate. The fellow with the pistol says, "No, yeah, I heard of that too. He's got that lactose intolerance."
Excuse me, they.
And the guard with the pistols says, "My apologies." And the guy with the shotgun in the back says, "No, what? No, why are you appealing to them? The two of those guys came out here trying to talk sweet to us, and their two friends thought they were slick by coming up trying to be behind those boxes. By the way, we saw you, giant snake person back there."
No.
Unfortunately, earlier their perception roll was really, really good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, are we allowed to
They
know
saw
the number?
all of you.
Are we allowed to know the number?
The dice was 17, and they have a big fat boost off of that. So it was well over 20.
But I had a 24. How could they have bested a 24?
Well over 20.
What? How?
Listen, you have a dietary restriction. They don't have a perception restriction. Like, everybody feels different.
Makes sense to me.
Well, this is ridiculous.
All right. So you guys have managed to take the situation from tense and hostile to apprehensive.
Mm-hmm.
It's clear that a couple of them are very suspicious of you. One of them trusts you. One of them is all like, "Yeah, no, I heard about that."
Mm-hmm.
And the fella in the back with the shotgun says over the din and roar of the steel beneath you, "Well, hang on. How do we know you guys are part of the staff? You guys aren't wearing any staff uniforms." And he actually begins to raise his shotgun a little bit and says, "And you're all wearing masks."
Furfoot is going to step out in front of Bass, just subtly nodding as if to say, "Don't worry, I got this." And Furfoot just says, "We did not have our uniforms cleaned this morning. We had gone out last night on our own terms. There was an event that we all had to go to. It was all family related, and all of our uniforms somehow got stained and damaged, and we weren't able to wash it out, so we had to wear our non-uniform clothes, and the dust storm was real bad on the way here, so we had to wear something to protect our lungs. I'm an asthmatic. I can't be breathing this stuff. I'm meant to have this. It's fine." And Furfoot's gonna take a very teeny tiny baby cat step forward. "We mean no harm to you. We promise we're a part of the staff. Just so many coincidentally bad things happening at once, sir. I assure you. And Furfoot even, they have their hands on their hips, but it's above their gun, as they secretly had sheathed their gun when they were getting out from behind the crate. So they have their hands on their hips, but it's above where their gun would be.
Of course. Now, Jingles has raised his hand, so Samson, go ahead.
Has everybody sheathed their guns, or are they all still holding
That's
their
true.
guns?
You guys have your guns out. You haven't.
I did. We
specified-
did. No, at the door, I said I put my guns away before I walked out.
Okay.
Sam
Okay.
said that he put his guns away.
Okay, I'm going to say Doc is the only one that's got the rifle out. And we'll let that be the image that's set forth. Furfoot, give me a bluff check.
Yes. All right. What's my bluff modifier? That's a pretty good bluff modifier. Give me good roll.
13.
That's
God
13.
damn it. That's not
Now-
a very good roll.
It's their turn to sense motive.
He rolled a natural
Oh, no.
3. You got a plus 10.
I hate it. Yeah, plus 10's my modifier. I didn't want to roll a 3. I'm going to use my actual dice again. If I get one more bad roll, I'm using my actual
You
liquid
also
core
have
dice that I
hero
have
points.
next to me.
Hero points are rerolls, right?
Sorry, a hero point, I misspoke earlier, on a d20 roll, turns it into a natural 20.
Oh, okay.
I
Free
wanted-
natural 20.
Free natural 20.
I want a natural 20. Actually, wait, no, I don't. I'll take the consequences. I'm saving it.
Okay. Very strong of you. I respect it.
My
right,
initial
here they go.
instinct was, oh yeah, no, something bad's gonna happen. You know what? If something happens, guess what? I get to shoot someone. That's fine.
All right, here we go. I'm going to roll for them.
Please roll bad. Please roll bad. I'm crossing my tiny cat fingers right now. Please roll
I'm
bad.
crossing my fuzzy wuzzies.
The fuzzy wuzzies be crossed.
Itsy
Please
bitsies.
roll bad.
Please me out the dice roll.
I'm gonna rig the dice. I'm gonna bap them as soon as you get a good roll. I'm gonna make it roll poorly by bapping the dice until I get a number that's less than a 5.
Yeah. So when you say that and you approach being as friendly and affable as you usually are, you did a great job. You went for usual textbook cat lie that you always do.
Yes.
The fella in the back still eyeing you guys with suspicion. He said, well, I do see what you're talking about with the staff. Every single time that the train stops anywhere, the staff's allowed to get off and relax and enjoy the rest of their day. But unfortunately, and he's going to point his shotgun at you guys aren't the kitchen staff. And he says to the others, looks like we got some robbers, boys. And now we're going to need an initiative roll.
Well, hells. Sam got an 18.
Yeah, but
Doc got a 5.
I see it.
Furfoot got a 23.
It was a good try, guys. It was a really good try. All right. Combat order is Furfoot, train guard with a rifle, Sam, Baz, train guard with a pistol, train guard with a shotgun, Doc, unfortunately, taking up the rear. Furfoot, you're up.
That's just clerics.
Yeah.
Furfoot is just going to roll their eyes.
All right, you asked for this.
And they're going to unsheath. What is unsheathing? Is it a bonus action?
It's
Or
a
does that take up
movement
my
It's a
movement?
move action.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't exactly plan on moving because let me actually check how far I have to.
Also,
Like
I would also like
fire?
to point out that the objects near you are more or less waist height. So feel free to use them as cover if need be, if you're in an advantageous position to use that.
Yeah.
I would just like you to specify, please.
All right. What's the range on the pistol that I got again? I'm not really sure how I'm able to
think
figure
40
that
feet.
out. 40 feet? Range 20 feet. God damn.
Yep, the first range increment is 20 feet.
And the second one, if I have
If you-
another one?
If you go 40 feet, then you will roll with a -2, I believe. Or -4, I don't remember which.
Let me check.
Okay.
I'm absolutely certain no one's within 20 feet of me. But is anyone within 40 feet? You are barely within 40 feet. Furfoot is going to take out their rifle,
All right, you asked for this.
and with a spinny show of hands, they're just going to twirl it around a little bit, just almost as a show of mocking, and then aim it directly at the train guard with the rifle and attempt to shoot with their main hand.
All right, go ahead.
So as they're spinning their gun around, they're just sort of making a smug cat smile before immediately dropping the expression and aiming the gun straight at the rifleman and attempting to fire.
Dang it.
Ooh.
That's not very good.
Unfortunately, I do not believe that a 10 will do it.
Nah, rats.
Anything else you want to try?
I can't move anywhere.
No, unfortunately.
Because you drew your weapon.
Yes, I'm fine with that. Am I allowed to at least crouch down, or would that be considered a movement?
No, I'd allow it, but unfortunately, where you're at, you're not really in the way of getting good cover.
I'm just gonna turn back to the rest of the party and just go,
Well, guess this is happening. You're up.
All right. Next up is the train guard with the rifle.
don't you even think about it, mister.
Train guard with the rifle is going to target the person that was most suspicious to him, and
Really?
the Furfoot.
With the, aww. Man. I mean, that's fair.
And he is going to attempt an attack with his rifle.
Don't even think about it.
Oh, actually, you know what? Before he does that, he's actually going to move. He's going to move right here into the center, and he's going to take a shot.
Of course he is.
All right, well, it can't be that bad.
That is a 17 to hit.
Oh, that ties it, which I think means it hits, right?
And it's just barely.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
And we'll go ahead
right.
and apply damage.
6
can you
points.
do that for me?
Bludgeoning piercing damage.
Meow. Me
That's
ow,
gonna be-
dude. That was
that's
rude.
That's going to be the end of his turn. It's going to move on to Samson. So as he steps up, he loads up his shot, fires it at you. Fortunately, it's not as bad as it could have been, Furfoot. So it actually grazes over the top of your shoulder, and you can tell, no, that's going to be another bald spot for your fur. And now, Samson, you're up.
Right. Sam is going to move. This is where he's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Bop. And as he's moving, because he has the quick draw feat,
Mm-hmm.
he will pull out his rapier
Mm-hmm.
from the side and that's a free action to do because he's got the quick draw. And he is going to target this guy and just going to be all like, it's not nice to shoot children. And he will go ahead and make an attack with his rapier. 16 to hit.
16 will hit.
Nice. 6 points of damage.
Copy that. Nice work. Now, if you're all done, it is Bass's turn.
Yep, that's his action.
All right. So Bass is going to attempt to shoot at the guy here. So and he shoots his gun, so he's got to pull his gun down first.
Yep. And
I guess that's a move action.
You can pull out one gun as a move action. If you're going to pull out both your guns, that would take your action and your move action.
So then, yeah, we'll just pull out one for right now. Okay, so I will attack with revolver.
Okay, well, it's
Did I hit?
got a natural 20.
Oh, awesome.
And then a 14 to confirm the crit.
Unfortunately, it does not confirm.
Okay, 11 points of damage then.
Oh, brilliant. In that case, we'll go ahead and click on the guard that you're targeting.
Oh, wait, no, it wouldn't be that much. Unless he's spending a grit to add his charisma to it.
No, it was just a shot.
Yeah. So there's different types of attacks that you can choose. If you go to your combat tab,
Oh, I didn't know I could choose other things. I just thought I was shooting.
because you used focused aim, which you need to spend a grit in order to do that. You just want to do a regular shot, in which case he rolled 4.
Well, if I need to use a grit to do it, then I'll do it. I just didn't realize the focus shot required a grit.
The focus shot does. If you want to do a regular shot, you don't have to spend a grit to do that.
Well, yeah, but I've already done the focus shot, so I'll go ahead and use the burn the grit to do it.
Okay, take off a grit.
Yep, he's fine. Yep, just
And
make sure
he'll
to
do
take
11
the grit
damage
off.
to it
Okay, so grit is located.
in your features section.
I'm going to go ahead and apply the damage.
Yeah.
Done. Boom. Bass, you whip out your pistol and you take aim right as Samson is throwing this guard off his game. He tries to defend himself with his rifle and push away Sam's rapier. And when he does, he holds it down and it leaves his chest wide open for you to take a shot. And that piece of lead rips straight through him and he hits the deck, dead.
Wish I didn't have to do that, son.
Was this guy the nice one?
You're thinking about the pistol fella.
Thank you.
The one that you guys lied to.
Good to know.
Yep.
I
The
just
one
wanted
that
to
you
make sure.
convinced.
Yeah, but still, again, he's not quite. It's a struggle.
I think that's the end of your turn, right, Bass?
Yep.
All right. We're now moving on to the train guard with the pistol. After one of his colleagues falls over, he's going to say, "Damn it!" And he's going to, since he already has his pistol out, he's going to step over here. He's going to attempt to point blank shot you.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I do not believe that he actually has that buff, so
And because he's attempting to make a ranged attack in
Yep.
my threatened space, I get an attack of opportunity on him with my rapier.
that's right. Go for it.
16.
16 will hit.
4 points of piercing damage.
All right. Go ahead and apply it. Coming around the corner, you stick out your rapier, you catch him on the forearm, he winces and he holds his arm, but then he brings his now wounded arm back up, pulls the trigger, and he fires at you. Let's see if he hits. That is going to be a 17 to hit.
17 will hit. I'm going to spend a grit point to do Gunslinger's Dodge. So I get to make a 5-foot step and get a +2 bonus to my AC as I spend a grit to do that.
Nice. That'll do. He brings his pistol back up low and he fires off at a bad angle. And you can feel the bullet crest up and nick your forehead just a little bit, and it cuts straight through your hat.
Nice.
And you can feel just the slightest bit of heat as blood is beginning to rush to that tiny wound.
Sam, he'll dodge back. It hits his hat, and he'll be all like, "But what about the dietary restrictions?" That's it.
Nice. All right, and now the fella in the far back, it's his turn. He's got a shotgun. He's going to attempt to use his shotgun and shoot at Furfoot. He will be taking a -2 to this because you are far out, and that will be an 11 to hit you. The train guard with the shotgun steps up to the barrels. He actually leans down and he steadies his shotgun against the barrels. Furfoot, you have just enough time to see him point a shotgun at you, and when it ignites and shoots out the pellets at you, you shudder, pull yourself in reaction to the shot, and then realize nothing happened. You look behind you at the cart behind you guys, and you could see the pellets littering and puncturing into the cart behind you.
Furfoot just blinks for a moment, looks around at everyone else, feels himself for a moment just to make sure everything's still in place, and then out loud just goes, "What the hell just happened?" Sort of to no one in particular, but just stating their thoughts out loud.
Yeah, they missed. And now it is going to be Doc's turn.
Alright, Doc already has
Doc,
their...
kill him.
Doc already has their rifle out, so they are going to move to here.
Mm-hmm.
Again, kind of prop themselves. You know, they're going to use their environment. They're going to make sure they can get a nice, clean shot, and they are aiming for the train guard with the shotgun. And with their rifle, they are going to attack.
Ooh,
9.
A 9 will
9.
not hit, unfortunately.
All right.
After Doc, it's Furfoot. So, Doc, you come up, you brace yourself against the box, and when you do, you make sure to put on your ear protection and your eye protection, and you make sure that the range is clear, and then you make sure you're in a proper shooting position, and make sure nobody's gonna bother you while you're doing your shooting practice, and you miss, unfortunately. It happens to the best of us. And now, Furfoot, you're up, and after Furfoot, it is Samson.
Furfoot is going to look back at everyone else, look at the gun in their hand, and just cockily smile again as they move up behind this crate that's directly in front of them and attempt to shoot at the one with the shotgun.
All right, give it a go.
Same, doing just a little bit of spinny, just because out of habit, and also, hey, I'm showing off for you. They always do a little spinny.
Nice, go for it.
And it's within 20 feet, I assume, correct?
19.
19 will hit.
Yes!
8
Let me double check just to make sure. Oh no, it's 30. 17, my bad.
17 will hit. Thank you for
Yay!
double checking on that.
Yeah, I was like looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute, that's too many squares. I don't want to be the person that takes advantage of the DM not knowing or paying attention.
I'll go ahead
I'm
and
a
apply
good player.
that.
I don't take advantage of my DM.
That's right.
Basically, I appreciate you. So, Furfoot, come up, spin, 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 turn, point, shoot, and the bullet actually catches the shotgunner on his shoulder, pretty opposing shoulder from where you were hit earlier. And when he hits, he recoils. You got him good. You can already see that blood is starting to come down his arm, and it's going to be a little bit harder for him to actually hold the shotgun and shoot with it.
Oh my.
And now, Samson. And after Samson is Bass. Think about what you want to do.
All right.
All right, Sam is going to take a 5-foot step forward, and then he's going to just go ahead and slice at the guy with the pistol.
Do it again. Yeah.
And he says, "People are going to get sick!"
We're still going with this joke?
We're still doing it, folks.
Hey, he spins and says, "I take my job very seriously."
Safety is my concern.
That is
Oh my
natural 20
God.
with a 24 to confirm the critical.
Oh,
Nice, so
right.
handbasket.
Yeah, that'll confirm.
Jesus
Um,
Christ, show
let's
off
see.
much? Oh my gosh. That is
I guess
such good rolls.
that's 10 points of damage. I
Yep,
believe.
that'll be 10.
Yeah, 5 and 5. Yeah, that's 10. 10 points of damage.
Alrighty, I will go ahead and apply that.
Cheese on top of bacon, for crying out loud.
Is nobody concerned about this? So you step forward with your rapier, you tell him how stringent you want to maintain safety measures for everyone's enjoyment, for the ride, for the company. Why is nobody taking this seriously?
Exactly.
And
Sorry, did I not explain that Sam is a method actor? He's been spending the whole horse ride getting into character.
When you bring your rapier up for a flourish, you actually take the flat, slap him across the cheek, and when he brings his arms up to defend himself, that's when, very deftly, you swish back and thrust right into the chest, where he was unprepared to defend himself, and he falls back against the floor, dead. Nice. Well done. You got him. And now it is Bass's turn.
All right, well, let's just try a normal shot with the gun I have in my hand.
Don't forget,
I got-
you've now got, since you already got it out, you can move and shoot.
Yeah, you can move first. You're kind of far away.
Okay, so I can move. Let's close that down slightly. Let's go here.
That's 20 feet.
Okay.
I believe he's got a movement of 30. So you
Actually,
can go
could I-
as
well-
far as here, right next to Samson, if you wanted to.
Oh, okay, so I can go there? Okay, well then I'll go there.
Yep, this guy is well within 20 feet of you. You'll take no penalties to shooting him.
And it's time to saddle up and see how we do it. Or as Bass Coltrane likes to say, put the lead out and see what happens.
Take your shot. That'll be 16 to hit. 16 will hit.
7 plus
All right.
damage.
Alrighty.
It seems like he gets a +1 because I believe he has point blank shot.
Nice.
Yeah, he has point blank
Yep,
shot.
within ranges of 30 feet. Yeah, you do. We're going to go ahead and apply that damage. All right, Bass, you step up. When you fire off your shot, the fellow with the shotgun is already trying to administer some sort of aid to the wound in his shoulder that Furfoot gave him. He looks down at his shotgun to make sure that it's still in working order. And then out of the corner of your eye, oh no, here comes Bass. He spins his shotgun around, and before he can get a shot off, you turn up, point it right on down the barrel, fire, and his head snaps back from the impact, and he falls to the ground dead. All right, encounter is over. Now, we're not going to be giving out any experience points for this because it's just a one shot, but trust that the game allows us to automatically give you guys experience points in the future encounters.
Can I actually take time to reload my gun?
By
Even
all
though I only
means.
spent 2 bullets. I would
guys-
rather take time.
You guys are now out of combat.
All right.
Dugan
Uh-huh.
Gang, what do you want to do?
I see these little chests in front of me here, and I know we ain't got a whole lot of time because we have definitely alerted some people to our presence. But I would like to at least see what's in these boxes, since we're in here.
Okay. Are you telling the gang or are you telling me?
I'm telling you, I'd like to go over
Alright.
here and check these boxes.
All right. You step on over, and you can see that there is a very, very simple lock on there. Insofar as that, like modern briefcases, how all you have to do is just flip the switches and then open it. That's as complicated as it is. It doesn't even have a padlock on it.
Furfoot's gonna mosey on over and look at what Bass is doing. And
You mosey on over just in time for Bass to crack open the chest, and you see it is filled with ladies' unmentionables.
Oh, well,
And
very
now,
much valuable here.
since you kind of didn't tell anybody what you were doing, Furfoot has to come around the corner and see their friend open up a chest and start rifling through ladies' unmentionables.
That's a bunch of pretty friendly underwear there and things.
Furfoot is just going to turn, give you a look of undeterminable confusion and concern.
You know, my
And
wife might have liked something like this back in the day, but I don't know that I really doesn't do much for me.
Furfoot's going to set one paw on Bass's shoulder, tap it just for a moment,
Good for you, pal.
and then walk over back to the dead bodies and, like, basically sit crisscross applesauce. Can I loot the bodies? If there, or can I
Yeah,
check
by
the
all
bodies for
means.
anything good?
Yeah, absolutely. And you
Which
guys can feel free to split this stuff up however you need or however it shakes out. So the fellow with the pistol, he had 10 gold on him, 5 silver, 7 bullets. The fellow with the shotgun had 10 gold, 5 silver, 10 shotgun shells. And the fellow with the rifle had 5 gold, 20 silver, and 10 rifle rounds, and a potion of cure light wounds.
As Sam sees Furfoot like going through the bodies and stuff, as he's sheathing his rapier, he says, Now, Furfoot, do remember, don't forget, some of this is going back to the gang. And then he motions for Doc to come over.
Can somebody get to the door? That way we try to make sure that nobody's coming up on us here.
Furfoot currently has dollar signs in their eyes, scrounging up a lot of the money. They're going to distribute it later, but they're currently just going to hold on to it, so I have to add all this. If that's okay. Oh yeah, the rifle rounds, my bad. Sorry, I forgot the rifle rounds. I don't know if anyone here uses a rifle, though.
I do.
Doc does.
Alright.
Doc moseys over, he sees Sam's signal.
He tries to, be quiet and kind of just whisper to Doc, so I don't know if anybody else is going to try and listen in. But his intention is to be what's the proper way to, deal with the bodies now, Doc?
Doc's gonna take it aside. He's gonna say, when we're outside on a regular mission, I like to put him to rest. We, ain't got time for that. I think we just do the most respectable thing we can here. Lay him nicely, cover him with a shroud, and we keep going lest we become one of them.
Can Furfoot hear what they're saying? Because they are right next to them.
Jingles was specifying that he's whispering, but he didn't know who else was wanting to try to eavesdrop.
Doc, I got a question for you. I got this chest here with a lot of unmentionables in them. I don't think any of us needs this. What if we put a body or two in here, depending on how big the chest is? Is that a possibility?
Is the chest look large enough to fit a humanoid corpse?
I mean, you'd have to dump out
like I said, I don't know if Bass heard our conversation either.
Right.
No.
Okay.
No, Bass didn't unless he wants to do a perception check. Same thing with you, Furfoot.
Perception check on it.
Alright. I'll do a perception check. Why not? That'll be fun.
I'm doing that. Does what looks like sacks behind me, is that just the sacks of rice and beans and stuff?
Basically, yeah.
Sort of. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, big burlap sacks.
Ooh. Good roll.
20 for Furfoot, 13 for Bass.
I'm gonna say, Bass, you didn't hear it. Furfoot, you did.
Furfoot is going to lean over and whisper,
Do we think that's a good idea? Really? What if someone else comes through here? My suggestion? Take what's good, throw them off the side. What are they gonna do? Follow the train by the time they find the bodies? It'll be long gone. But then again, that might be kind of careless. Nah, it's up to what you guys want.
as Furfoot continues scrounging up the last of the gold and silver into their pouch, leaving the bullets for whoever wants them.
Wow, I appreciate that, Furfoot. I'm gonna go ahead and go with what the good doctor suggests. Sam is gonna just start moving bodies into corners and stuff where they wouldn't be spotted too easily, and if he has to, he'll even take one of these sacks, cut it open, pour out the contents off the side, and then cover the people
Shroud.
with the sackcloth.
As Doc hears Furfoot's suggestion, he's gonna kind of just rub his snout in frustration and kind of grip his idol of Serene Ray and just be like, he's gonna help, lay the dead out. Gonna help Sam.
And
you guys take a moment to do that.
Well, y'all are doing that. I'm gonna go over here and check this chest. I mean, I've already embarrassed myself. What's the chances that there be women's undergarments in this chest as well?
This
There's
could be
more.
the undergarment cart.
Right?
You open it up,
Yeah.
and it's a bustier!
Whoa!
Are they transporting a brothel supply? Everything is women's clothing.
Oh my God, Bass! It's a brothel! It's a whole working brothel in there!
Oh my god.
That's a lot of undergarments.
God. No, you open it up and it's more clothing, except this is actually, it looks like formal clothing, as though it belonged to a businessman. Less unmentionables, but still a wide variety of clothes. And then,
Interesting.
the coolest hat you've ever seen. No, those were good.
Oh, Lord. The cool hat. Hold on now. I might want to talk about that hat now.
Sam is just gonna look around. Does this just look like general storage? Nothing particularly of value here?
Oh yeah.
No, think anybody's got nothing of millions of dollars worth of anything in here.
What's $1?
Millions of gold pieces worth of money.
Yeah, Dugan Gang based on what you're looking around, you can see this is primarily storage of larger items. And in some of these, there's even a couple of pickle barrels.
This doesn't seem to be anything of particular value here. Let's move forward.
Can I make another stealth check so I can get back to being a stealthy kitty?
You may.
Bomb this stealth check as well, but
Yeah, go ahead
Another
if you guys
natural
want to do
one.
another stealth.
Whoa, hello! That's a
Hello.
30.
19 for Doc.
Perfect. Back to being a stealthy
Brilliant,
kitty.
thank
Making
you.
our way over. They still have their pistol in hand. They're back to crawling on threes.
14 for-
Reloaded.
Bass,
Sam.
your luck is not that great.
I am meant to stick out like an old man, I swear.
Furfoot actually gently tugs on Bass's pant leg again now that they're back on the ground and just says,
Maybe I should take the lead on this one.
Yeah. I mean, you can definitely take the lead, but I will tell you, it still seems like me, I'm gonna stick out like a sore thumb no matter what I do.
Then I'd rather you not be seen first.
Sam says, Furfoot, be a darling and just peek in and tell us what you can see.
and Furfoot will do just that as they just stick their tiny little kitty head right on the floor.
Furfoot, you're looking inside, and you can see a lush violet carpet, first and foremost. And you can see out of the corner of your eye, looks like a serving tray. And it looks like soft seats. You can actually see people. People of various races. And it looks like that they're more of your common variety of people. Simple clothing, with the occasional person dressed up better than the rest. But these are people that you would see around town. These are people that you would see at the tavern. And it looks like most of them, if not all of them, are just sitting, looking at the window, talking to each other as the train continues to rattle on forward.
Furfoot's going to turn back. You can tell that they have a gentle smile underneath their mask, and they're just going to say,
I think it's a normal cart. I don't see anyone suspicious or anything. It's softer in there. It looks like actual carpet. I think there's someone serving food on, the inner wall where you're standing, Sam. I don't want to say we should go in casually, but I'm leaving this decision up to you. I'll take the lead, but if we go in casually or not is your decision.
Well, this looks like a good opportunity to get a few more bucks out. Everyone, keep your guns on you. Everybody still got their masks up?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Furfoot, open up your bag. Let me, do the talking this time.
Furfoot nods.
Keep an eye out. If anybody tries anything, do not give them the opportunity to hurt us. Clear?
Yes.
Furfoot
Right.
just nods again, looking sternly into the car.
And Sam will pull out his dragon breath pistol again.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, all right, here we go. And he steps into the room.
Place yourself as far as here.
Ooh.
Feel free to spread out as you guys need.
Could you actually tell me what these are?
I will. In
I would like
one
that.
moment.
Ah.
I think Bass got stuck. Oh no, Bass fell out.
Never mind. He's
What
back. He's cooked. He's back. I'll move him
He's
in.
no longer cooked.
There. All right. Dugan Gang. Stepping into this car, you could see, sure enough, it's as Furfoot described. It's a passenger car. Everybody here is either on business trips or they're off to go and see family long distance. Immediately to your left and to your right, as you step towards this, you could see service carts. And some of them still have a little bit of food and a little bit of drink on them.
What
And
kind of
over
food?
on the far side of the wall, you could see a very lax-looking man, another human, in the same sort of style of uniforms as the ones that you just fought. And he's actually in his seat, and it looks like that he's sort of stretching to look over everybody else. Samson, stepping into here, you immediately have gotten everybody's attention. Folks are turned, they're looking at you, and it's like looking at a kaleidoscope of faces. So many different races, so many different walks of life, but all still within that sort of approachable, regular person way of living. Samson, what do you do?
Samson holds his gun up in the air but doesn't fire. And it says, "Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I hope you've been having just a wonderful trip so far. We intend to rob you.
When you say that, they start murmuring, oh, no.
We don't want to hurt any of you. We'd rather this go smoothly. If you value your lives, is there anybody relatively close to me?"
I would say
Behind you.
immediately. I would say here.
I will aim my gun at Bass.
I would say a couple of seats in front of you, right here on the aisle, there is an orcish looking fella, maybe about in his 40s, pretty simple clothing.
Oh, nobody I recognize, though.
No. I would say nobody that you recognize. I would say Doc.
Just marking down there's someone there.
Something catches your eye as people are poking their heads and trying to look over each other to see what's going on. Doc, all the way back here, near the rear of the cart, there are a pair of Nagaji, and they appear to be of the Order of Saren Ray Clerics.
Well, Doc intended to aim his gun at whoever was the closest,
Yeah.
and just be all like, "Now, if everybody stays calm, nobody needs to get hurt." That was the end of what I was trying to do.
Okay. Give me an intimidation check.
Excellent.
I wonder how beefy your bonus is.
Well, I get a bonus just for being a half-orc, so that's nice. Oh boy, let's see how it goes. 23, sir.
That's not bad.
All right. You have clearly instilled in this crowd a sense of concern and fear. The fella that you pointed your gun at, he immediately puts his hands up in the air, and since he's a half-orc as well, he actually speaks to you in Orcish. And he says, please, cousin, I have nothing.
Sam hears that. Just a quick dart around. Any other orcs?
Yeah, there are a few others there as well. We'll say, for the sake of clarity...
You just see a few other half-orcish people?
Yep, you've got 2 half-orcs occupying these chairs here, got 1 half-orc near this window, and another half-orc back here, 2 here, 1
Sam,
here.
having not spoken Orcish in a while, he basically just says, in kind of a reassuring tone, "If you just give what you can, we won't hurt you. We're not really here for you specifically."
Dugan Gang, go ahead and place yourself in marching order, so to speak. The half-orc that has already got his hands up, as you guys are moving around, you got your guns out. The half-orc that you originally talked to, he looks at you and he shrugs and he tells you again in Orcish, I have nothing. And he pulls out his coin purse and he holds it over to you. Feels like there's barely anything in there. Upon looking inside, there's 5 gold pieces inside that thing.
5 gold pieces?
Yeah.
Okay. Sam, if he has to use, sleight of hand in order to do this or whatever, he's gonna reach inside and pantomime taking the money out, but leave the money inside, and then just angrily toss the coin purse back at him.
Nice. So, yeah, give me a sleight of hand.
Got it.
It's just to make sure
that
that
would be
nobody
fun.
else sees what you're doing.
Yeah.
Also, I had asked this earlier kind of as a joke, but was there anything on the food carts that would have been particularly worth taking, at least as a quick snack?
I would say there's a apple on there with a single bite taken out.
As they were passing by, Furfoot had just picked it up, taken a good bite or 2 out of it, and set it back down. They didn't even bother taking it with them. They just wanted a couple. But you can see that they're going to be chewing on that for the remainder of the car.
Yep. It looks like that nobody else noticed that. In fact, when you pass it back to the half-orc, he looks inside. And first, he looks distraught because you robbed him. He looks inside, and he looks confused, and he looks back at you. You're already walking past him. I would say, Samson, put yourself there, and the rest of the gang line up behind him.
Whee! I love the smooth movement system in Foundry.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's pretty great.
Doc, don't forget to move yourself. Thank you. It's so silly. It's just whoop.
Alrighty.
It's a slide whistle sound.
I would say, based on the intimidation check that you did earlier, Sam, I'm going to say, gang, you managed to get out of this, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat.
Thank you.
All right. You got 200 gold pieces, 300 silver pieces, 50 copper pieces, and 10 platinum pieces out of this entire group of people as you're walking on by.
Oh, hell yeah. That's what I like to see.
There's a couple of times when sometimes somebody on the corner will try to get tough with you, Sam, and they'll tell you, it's all like, we're not gonna let you take what we worked hard for. And, of course, requires a little bit more persuading, and you're able to get them to essentially cough up what they were already holding back. As you guys pass by the pair of Nagaji, I would say, Sam, you probably already know this about the Nagaji clerics of Sarah and Ray. They're not big on carrying money. And when they come on by, they're talking to each other. It's like they're trying to appeal to your better part of your humanity. They're telling you, this wicked life, it's not going to treat you well, son. You got to turn this around. Think about all the people that love you. And as you guys are coming on over, they're talking to Sam primarily, but it's when Doc comes by them, they seem more insistent. They seem like they're trying to save one of their own. Like they almost seem heartbroken, Doc, to see that you have chosen this life for yourself, even though circumstances have essentially damned you to doing what you need to do. They're trying to appeal to you, like Saren Ray's light. You haven't let it soak into your soul. You haven't let it touch those dark parts of your heart. And they're just trying to appeal to you. And then one of them, the older of the pair, stops the younger one. And the older Nagaji is now really focusing on your eyes. I am going to do a perception check to see if they recognize you. Oh boy. Oh boy. So much fun. Ooh, that was a really good roll. The older one actually puts their hand on the younger Nagaji, and the older one looks at you and says, Is it you, little one? Little one that came to the Order so long ago. Is it you? We thought we lost you. And now, Doc, your response is in your hands.
From the second that Doc saw the pair of Nagaji on the train, if snakes could sweat, he would be sweating. And it takes a lot to fluster Doc. I mean, like, he's a man of medicine, he's seen a lot, been with the gang. But he has not seen any of his people in a long time. It's been a very long time, and very few of the gang members have really ever either seen another Nagaji or really seen anyone other than Doc. They don't know much about his past because he has kept it that way. And Doc's been in a weird place since, kind of realizing this may be the last mission. And while he's got things to look forward to with Annie, here right in front of him is someone from his past, and he's got things that maybe now he'd like to reconnect with. But on the other hand, in the middle of a train robbery, is this the time? I imagine that Doc kind of peeks. He's obviously his gaze has been on the two Nagaji, but he's gonna look up to Sam just for a fleeting glance, just for this quick, you're the only one who knows a hair's breadth of what is going through my mind right now. And I'm seeing my two worlds combine, but not even kind of waiting for what Sam might have in his gaze. He's just going to turn to the older Nagaji and let out a tiny nod.
Oh, very good. The older Nagaji is gonna see that, and you could see that there's a little bit of heartbreak in his eyes, and now he's come off of his seat. He's now stepped closer towards the aisle. He's now actually physically reaching out to you, about to touch you, and he's saying, Little one, you can come back. You can come back. You don't have to choose this life. You don't have to do any of this. Why? What happened? Why are you doing this?
He's gonna swallow, take a deep breath, and he's gonna look up into his elder's eyes and say, I didn't choose this. You've been out in this wide world. I set out here. I left the nest. I left the clutch. and I set out to do everything that I swore to Serenray that I would do. He's going to take a couple shuddering breaths in. This family here is more than and he's going to gesture to the gang, is more than I've ever been able to build than by anything else with my hands. This is more than anyone else has ever let me heal. I promised Serenray, I promised our clutch that I would set up a clinic, that I would spread her good word. And I was met with nothing but contempt and and I tried, and I realize now the irony of being a venomous snake. And you can see that Jock is just getting beyond flustered, and there's probably more words than the rest of the gang has ever heard Jock ever put together in anything, and he is just ranting and raving, and he's almost to tears, but kind of a fleeting thought passes through, can the snakes even cry? And then you're whipped back to just that moment of wait, oh shoot, we've heard Doc mention Serenray. We know that Doc's a healer, but obviously kind of connecting these dots now. Yeah, you all hear this. Doc is not being quiet about this.
Absolutely. This is a intense moment that has not only locked down Doc and this older Nagaji, and this connection that I would say Furfoot and Bass, you two had no clue. You knew Doc had some sort of religious inclinations and was the one to always patch you guys up, but you had no clue it went this deep. Sam, this is all coming up, and you really feel for Doc based off of the conversations that the two of you have had, and it's almost hurtful to see your friend go through this. And while the other two are rightfully so, caught completely off guard by this sudden and very earnest exchange, Sam, out of the corner of your eye, that fella that was sitting over on the far side of the room, you see that he is now leaned over in his chair, looking down the aisle, and he's got his hand on his pistol and he's starting to take it out of the holster.
Okay. Sam is going to snap in his direction, point the gun directly at him, and says, "If you value your life, you will keep your hand off that iron of yours."
Give me an intimidation check.
I don't know if we can get advantage on that or not, because this is a pretty tense moment.
Yeah.
Seeing that
Natural
Never
20.
mind, that's natural 20. Oh my god, the gods have heard us.
The gods were all
having a moment here.
Wow.
the gods heard that, and they're all like, "That's some good roleplay."
Oh man,
Yeah,
that's good
thank
roleplay.
you.
I want to see where this is going.
Hold up, wait a minute.
Hold up, wait.
Keep it rolling.
Spin around. You say that. At this point, when you point your gun over at the guy, there are folks around you that gasp and shudder and cover each other.
Yeah, he growled a little bit. He tries to be proper.
Yeah.
As a kind of a sleazeball gentleman that he is. But he was really "If you value your life, you will keep your hands off that iron."
And when you do that, you sweep your pistol around. People pull back, they recoil, they try to get back deeper into their chairs. And the fella that you pointed your pistol at, who had his hand on his iron, and it was halfway out.
Yeah.
He looks at you, his eyes are now wide, and you could visibly see his shades grow lighter as the pistol creeps out of the holster, and as soon as it's clear of the holster, he lets go, and it thumps against the floor. And then he puts both of his hands up.
His tusks are very much bared at this point.
Yeah.
He says, "Furfoot, go pick that up."
Furfoot nods and does exactly as told.
Bass, get the rest of the belongings off of these people. Sam is going to get closer to Doc.
And Furfoot does exactly as they're told, and as they're
feel
walking
free to-
by the person, they also sort of just shine their gun with a quiet whisper of, "Don't you even think about it."
He looks at you,
Right.
Furfoot, and he nods, and he said, "Of course, never would."
Good.
Sam, Doc has not stopped locking eyes with this older Nagaji. Even while you did all that shouting and you tried to protect everybody from a would-be danger, Doc is just eyes locked and rifle tight in their grip.
Sam will very gently just place a hand on Doc's shoulder to just kind of reassure him a little bit. He turns to the older Nagaji and he says, "Fella, you have no idea what this snake has gone through. You may think you know, but you don't understand what it's like to live in a place where you're hated constantly and you fear for your life all the time. So I would kindly ask, leave my brother alone."
At that, you can feel under your hand Doc just take in this, like, shuddering breath. Because, like, even though obviously they've been together through this for a long time, like, they're not touchy-feely guys. No. But just kind of feeling that, like, my brother. It is in his hand still because he had been, kind of given last rites to the 3 that they dispatched in the other room. He's got his symbol of surrender. He's got his like, religious token. He's got it in his hand, and he's gripping it. Like, in one hand he's got his rifle, and in the other hand he's gripping that token of faith as tight as he can, almost to the point of drawing blood. And he's just trying to kind of reconcile everything.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Oh, and Sam is not pointing his gun at the Nagaji at all. He keeps it in that general direction of the guy that had his gun.
Yeah.
But doesn't lower it from that direction.
Yeah. The younger Nagaji, the impression that you get, Sam, unfortunately, Doc is really locked in this really tough emotional space right now, and can't really take in any other details. I would say, Sam, you're probably picking up that the younger Nagaji means well, but is, as we all are when we're young, a little too quick to put his foot in his mouth, tail in his mouth, so to speak. He sort of cuts in between Doc and the older Nagaji and says, "Well, your sins will find you out one day." And the older Nagaji says, "That's enough." He says to Doc and you, "My faith in Sarenrae is predicated on the fact that light means truth, and that truth finds us all one day. And the truth of the matter is that if you are loved, truly loved, then you will prosper, but if you do not, you will languish. Now, I hope to the goddess of light and love herself that you will not languish. But until that day, you will be in my prayers."
Sam says, "Well, if what is most important is to be loved, then this one here," and taps Doc again on the shoulder, "this one here has nothing to worry about. Now, holy men, go in peace." And he turns and starts walking the other direction.
All right, great.
Towards the door that they're heading for.
Go ahead and move yourselves into position.
Furfoot's still going to have themselves stationed right at the door, more than willing to go first again.
The fella that you guys intimidated, he actually steps over and sits down in one of the booths.
Somewhere else.
Still without his gun.
As he begins to walk by, Sam puts his hand on his chest to stop him, and then he looks him over to see if his pockets have been outturned.
Huh? They have been.
Oh, sorry.
He reaches down and tugs on the outturned pocket a little bit.
Yeah.
Then looks him in the face, nods, and allows him to pass.
Furfoot slips Samson the acquired loot, including the gun.
"Hold on to it. You're stronger than I am."
Furfoot just nods. "What kind of a gun is it, just to be sure?"
"Oh, a revolver. Like your guys's."
I'm gonna spin 3 at once. No, I can't do that.
One in your tail, just
You are working your way to becoming Revolver Ocelot.
I'm not even kidding. Furfoot's first name literally is Ashanka. So, yeah, this is just a whole ass nod. I'm sorry, this is a whole freaking nod to Revolver Ocelot and Metal Gear Solid as a whole. I love you.
My name is Ashanka, also called
Revolver Bobcat. As a matter of fact, Sam says, "Wait here at the door." He'll go over to Doc and just kind of get close so that it can just be as close to a private conversation they can get right now. Just checks in with Doc and just says, "You all right?"
Doc's gonna give a very terse, "I ain't dead yet," but, with that kind of undercurrent of hey, yeah, I'm all right.
Good. when we're done here, we won't have to worry about that no more.
And he's going to put his hand on Sam's shoulder and say, let's make sure we all get out all right then.
And Sam just very seriously says, you're not going to add to that side of the tally today.
Sam, just to let you know now, I got all the rest of the stuff off of there while y'all was talking and everything. So just to let you know.
And Sam kind of just...
Literally right out of the corner, head pops in. I just thought I'd let you know.
Sam, just deep breath, and turns to and just the biggest smile he can do. Yeah. And just says, great job, Bass.
I don't know if y'all was in the middle of something, but I feel like it's important to let you know that the bathroom light has been flickering. I don't know if you're going out anytime soon. All right, Dugan Gang.
Yep.
Now what are you guys going to do?
Sam is just going to be like, there should be, and he thinks for a little bit, and there's like, no. Ashanka, if you can, please just, quick little peek out.
Furfoot once again nods, flattens to the floor, and just pop, tiny little cat head.
All right, Furfoot. You can see it's another open-air cart, lots of storage, and you can see that there are now 4 men milling about, doing more or less the same sort of aimless wandering and observations as the last deck. You can see that some of them are looking very familiar. You can see a couple of them still wielding shotguns, one with a pistol, another one with a rifle.
Furfoot just pulls back with a disgusted and tired look on their face. There's 4 of them now. And explains that it's another outdoor cart like the one that they were in previously, but there's 4 guys instead of 3. And jokingly throws out the comment,
do we want to try the chef bit again? See if that gets them this time?
Sam has to think a little bit and says, well, I'm open to suggestions and will allow whoever would like to try something different this time. Suggest something else.
Okay. Mix it up. Have some fun.
Furfoot looks around a little bit, shoots back to the rest of the gang.
There's not as much cover in the immediate area as there was on the last cart, so we might be a little screwed there.
Yeah, for the point of reference, for what you were looking at, Furfoot, you could still duck and cover behind these things, but boy, this is a really tight space right here. It's gonna probably funnel you guys in.
Which, considering some of the, stealth rolls we got earlier, Bass with a 6, sorry, but also, please, dice gods, roll better for this man, please. Furfoot just sort of analyzes for a little bit.
Yeah.
Did we have any security in this particular car?
Yeah, that one guy with his gun.
Mm-hmm.
Bass is gonna go look at him and be like, I need your clothing. I need your outfit.
Oh, boy.
He's gonna look at you, and it's now as you're standing next to him, you can see that he's a slim 20-year-old with dirty hair, and he looks up at you and he says, I don't know if it'll fit.
I understand that, but I do try to do disguises every now and then. We'll see what we can do to make it work.
Bass, go ahead and give me a disguise check.
On it?
While that's happening, Furfoot can obviously hear that this is happening and thinks for a moment about how this is actually not a bad idea. Looks to the rest of the party and just says, ooh. Furfoot just looks to the rest of the party and says,
do you think I could fake it?
When it comes to shooting people, it's not as bad, but like everything else just falls apart for Bass.
You also don't have any points in disguise.
I thought I did.
No, you haven't assigned any points in disguise. You only have your charisma bonus. So you rolled a 3 plus 4.
Yeah.
So, while Furfoot, you're thinking about that, Bass takes, we'll say, a minute to get the overcoat from the young man, get the trousers from the young man, figuring that that's more or less it. It's a bit more work than you would care to admit, Bass, to get into this uniform. But you get there. It's snug, but you get there. You turn around to the rest of the group. The 3 of you look at him, and Bass puts out his arms, sort of show the what do you think? You think this will work? You notice that the sleeves kind of end halfway through his forearm. You notice that the pant legs kind of end halfway up his calf.
I imagine he has difficulties touching his hands together.
From Bass's perspective, why would you even want to do that?
Exactly.
It is snug. All right, what are you going to do?
Okay, so I'm trying to think now, is there a way we can get them in here, one or two of them in here, separate them from the pack and deal with them, and then kind of move forward, since we got 3 people in there, because we don't necessarily want a firefight in the middle of that. The further we get up this train, the more we're going to alert people if we don't try to do something a little bit different.
Question also is, how many lives do you want to take in front of the young ones? And he gestures to the people in the cart.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to take any lives so I can help it.
So if you have them come in here, and we dispatch of them, and then he gestures again, the young ones are going to see that.
Maybe if we can get them, well, no, we'd be moving too far back. I was going to say if we get them to the other car.
All the way through to the other car?
Yeah, that would be too much. I'm just thinking out loud here, y'all. I'm not going to sit here and say this is the greatest plan in the world.
How about you go out there and you talk to them now that you got a perfectly good disguise?
All right. I think I can do that.
And as he says that, he leans over to Furfoot, who's right next to him, and he just whispers, "Let him cook."
The hell are you talking about?
But Furfoot goes along with it and quietly shuffles out of the way.
If anything goes bad, just give us a signal and we'll run out and help you.
All right.
All right.
Feel free to move yourself onto the other cart, only as far as here.
Can I cast guidance on him?
Ooh, good idea. Go ahead.
Ooh, yeah!
Wait, I didn't know guidance was an option.
Click on guidance.
No. Go put your cell phone back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mosey yourself on back here. Let me move back to the
There we go.
Let me slap you with some guidance.
There you go.
Slap him on the back. Hit him with some guidance.
All right.
All right, you're going to get a +1 competence bonus to a single attack roll saving throw skill check. You must choose to use it before you roll. And as you are leaving and get a slap on your backside, right before you step out of the cart, that young man who is now in his briefs and his breeches, he says, sir, am I going to get to have my uniform back?
We'll have to see the condition of it, son. I'm not 100% sure we'll be able to keep this all together. But if I can keep it together, I'll leave it at the front of the car for you.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Furfoot.
Furfoot looks back to the man and eyes him up and down. Can I actually make it, like, the equivalent of an insight check? Or just, like, a memory test to see, is there anyone about his size that we fought on the previous train car?
I would say no need for a check. I would say that the fellas that you last fought were much bigger than him.
Right.
All right. You step out into the sunlight. Wind catching you first and foremost. You step out, and immediately the other guards see you. They're looking confused, Bass.
Good Lord, don't you hate it when the laundry is set wrong when you try to wash your clothes? Stuff just shrinks on you for no reason, don't it?
Spin it around. You gotta find a way. You're spinning it. I love it.
I mean, come on, dog. Ain't you ever had a laundry thing sit there and go through crazy stuff and shrink your jacket, and shrink your shorts and everything? Good Lord, this is crazy, I tell you. I ain't never in my life seen anything so crazy. I look like a fool to y'all. I'm sure I do. Y'all can laugh at me. It's all right. I fully understand.
Give me a bluff check. Sorry, I was just legitimately wondering. I was like, how is he going to spin this? There's no way. Oh, my laundry shrank. Never mind. That's brilliant. All right, a 16 on that bluff check. Now, time for their sense motive check. Everybody give Will your energy.
Hold up my hands.
I already slapped his behind.
Try to charge up.
Did he add his bonus to
He
that?
did not specify before he
I
rolled.
did not specify I was adding my bonus because he said I had to do it beforehand. Because if I have to get in the fight, I'm holding my bonus for that.
Okay.
All right. Now, when you initially walked out there, you could tell that the atmosphere was hostile. Nobody's supposed to be out here while the train is moving, especially guests. Staff is okay, but they have to know the staff. And as you step on out there, and you're already, I imagine the door open and you're already complaining about us all like, oh, there's Dawn laundry and I can't get nothing done. And
my soap is all itchy. Got me scratching myself while I'm sitting there moving.
Dugan Gang, the three of you watching this circus play out in front of you see that the first two guards that are closest to Bass, they see him and they look confused. And as it goes on, he keeps complaining. And while you're doing that, Bass, I also imagine that you're just kind of looking very natural, like, I guess I'll go on about my chores. And
yeah, I'm going to go up to the front area there and continue on my pathway.
I'm going to say, Bass, we are going to move you as you're advancing and talking. You get, I would say, about halfway through the cart. They have not assailed you, they have not stopped you, but it's about when you get there that one of the fellas, one that is holding a shotgun, he says, now, son, you know you're not supposed to put any of those clothes. They are far too delicate, and they will always shrink on you. This is lesson number 1, son.
Yeah, I know, but I got home yesterday and the wife put them in the laundry for me. I was so tired and I had my gout acting up and I tried to get my feet off the ground for a little bit. And next thing I know, I got in there this morning, she had ironed it for me and everything, and I looked at the pants, I was like, but honey, why my pants look like short? And then all of a sudden she's like, but baby, I put them in the laundry for you so they be clean. I might have put the hot water on them instead of the cold water. And I looked at her and I said, but baby, the tag even says wash it in cold water. Yeah, I might have messed up. Well, what can you do? You can't yell at the wife, because if you yell at the wife, you ain't gonna be happy at home.
And when you say that, the fellow with the shotgun says, yeah, you can't go doing that. You should have called her on beforehand. And the rifleman behind him says, you say you joined in yesterday?
Yeah, I was here for the dinner that they had on the boat.
He squints at you and he says, I don't remember nobody getting hired on yesterday. And now you've moved them from high level of hostility to now just being apprehensive. If you want to go for it, Will, feel free to give me another bluff.
I will use my guidance for the bluff.
Alright, let's do it.
Alright.
That is a 31 total on bluff.
Wow.
Natural 19.
I will now roll for them. Good luck.
The bluff game is on point today. Can't do anything else worth nothing, but the bluff game is on point.
What does Bass say in response to, I don't remember nobody getting hired on yesterday?
Oh, give me the name of somebody that would have been. Is there any names at anything if we look at the posters? I'm going to yell out a name. Mr. Fildermo hired me down at the center to get on at the last stop.
When you say that, he squints. You could see him gripping his rifle tighter, and then the shotgunner behind him says, oh, Mr. Fildermo! Yeah, he doesn't like to tell nobody about any new hands he hires on. Yeah, I figured a good chance are you didn't pass the word along, which makes perfect sense.
I'm sorry.
I do not much care for it. And the rifleman relaxes.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize he didn't tell y'all if I was coming on.
And the shotgunner says, what's your name now, son?
My name is Beauregard.
Oh, well, powerful nice to meet you, Beauregard.
Appreciate it. It's a kind just to meet y'all as well.
Now, you said you got business over on the front of the train?
Yeah, I gotta head that way. They told me to go up there and check on the people, make sure they're eating good and everything.
Oh, fair enough. Oh, this next car? Everyone's eating good. That's where they put all them fancy types, if you know what I mean. Not so much the cart after that. No. That's where the real toy relax at. But I gotta tell you, this name strikes a powerful chord for you personally. He says, but, what can you do? When you're Mr. Quartermain's personal guard going on out there?
Oh, okay, so Mr. Quartermain's personal guard is in the next car, not the one I'm going into, but the next car, okay? All right, yeah, he's a pretty popular fella.
And as you're describing this, he's kind of confused by the way they say it. He's like, nah, the car after this one, that one is the fancy folk.
As they're talking, Sam just kind of leans over at Furfoot and says, the cart before the horse, right?
Hell yeah.
And he said, and then after that is where the toys is, and then Mr. Quartermain, look, man, I don't remember where exactly. He always likes to walk around these trains and just look at his money. And when he says that, the other guards all kind of chuckle and look at each other. But yeah, his money, yeah. Anyway, why don't you go on about your business? We ain't gonna stop you.
All right, I appreciate y'all, fellas. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your day now, you hear?
All right. And they look at you. They're waiting for you to walk past them.
Okay,
Sam,
and don't walk into the box.
Sam kind of like thinks and like watches from behind the door and says, did he say anything about how we can get past all these people, or is he just going to do it by himself?
I don't know. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to go back and be like, by the way, come follow me? Because then that doesn't make things even more suspicious.
I'm going to say, Bass, you are now free to move to the next card unimpeded.
All right.
If you want to. But Sam is correct. You did not specify about anybody else. They just know about this one little dude who, he's hilarious. He got his clothes shrunk.
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm
go
thinking-
talk to
I'm thinking-
Beauregard. He's hilarious.
Oh, God. Oh, speaking of guys, before I go out the door here, I just want to mention, Mr. Quartermain had some people that were coming with me. They're back at the doorway. Is it all right for them to come through with me?
Ooh.
I mean, if I
This is
gotta
not
be
going to
going-
go well.
me
Part of me
a-
thinks this is not going to go well.
Give me a bluff check.
I was trying to ride from the coattails to the last bluff. I was like, I realized I can't do that.
22. That's still really good.
But
Somehow your stealth is dog water, but you've been able to just bullcrap your way through every situation. We've had
Oh,
one
man.
combat encounter this whole time. Everything else we've just bullcrapped our way through.
But oh man, I ain't got that much time to live. I ain't trying to sit there and fight everybody. I ain't got that many fists.
no, Will, don't play the old man card now.
He's playing the
I
old
got
man card.
space to be. I'm old.
He played the old man card. It's too late. There's nothing we can do. It's a canon event.
Couldn't be helped. Couldn't be helped.
Couldn't be
Sciatica.
helped.
Once you do sciatica, you can't not be old man.
Lumbago.
Lumbago. You could tell these guys you have lumbago, and they'll be like, "Oh yes, please, sir, please go."
I'm surprised these guys weren't all like, this guy's awfully old to be working a job like this.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Okay. The shotgunner closest to you, who has so far been the friendliest, says, "Now, hold on, son. You say Mr. Quartermain's got some guests?"
Yes, sir.
And he looks over at the cart that you just came out of. From where you was at?
Well, they were back there. Now we wanted to be nice and make sure you were aware of it before we brought them through. We just didn't want to bring two strangers up in here.
He looks over at the cart and he says, "But that ain't where none of the fancy folk are at."
No, but these guests are needed by Mr. Quartermain now. He's got specific guidelines for them on some stuff that's coming up in the future with some plans he's got toward a development nearby.
Now, we don't know too much about Mr. Quartermain. And it's at this point you notice that he's beginning to thumb his shotgun a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know too much about Mr. Quartermain, but we do know that he does not suffer common folk. And now the tension...
He turns to the other two and he's like, common folk.
He does have a coal mine, though. And because of the coal mine business, there are times where he needs some things done. He'd rather not sully more polished hands.
And I am going to say the tension has now risen up. They are now suspicious again. One more bluff check.
On
Okay.
27.
All right. That fella is going to say, true enough, he has a coal mine not that far. And he would need middle managers. And then he's going to squint at you and he's going to say, but ain't no middle management in the cart that you just came from. Those people are entirely listed as separate passengers. They don't even mix with the fancy folk. And now they're getting hostile.
Thinking. Try to keep the rules going, or do we just get into a fight? Me outside of the game, by the way.
It's up to you, brother. The rest of you, you're watching this happen in real time.
No, Sam is just watching intently. He's not going to step in.
I understand that the situation feels rather weird, and I appreciate y'all listening to me up to this point. But all I have to say is, in a bit of a situation, it's kind of tough to keep Mr. Quartermain waiting. You know, he is a man of means. I mean, even means to where we don't have to work on this train for a lot longer if we don't want to. As long as we get him the people that we need to get him when we need to get them there. Yeah. I hate to have to tell him that you guys told me I couldn't bring him. I mean, as he's expecting them.
Yeah, he is a man of means. He is that. So why would you depart without your guests into the other cart? Why don't you... And he's gonna smile at you. Call them.
Well, I can definitely call them from here. Ladies and gentlemen of the boat that came with me there, Mr. Sam and Doc and Furfoot, would y'all please come into the car with me? These gentlemen would like to have a word with you. I'm assuming when I'm calling them by name, right?
It's up to you.
Yeah, did you just call us by name?
Because it sounded like you called them by name.
I did. Because you just call them. I don't know how else to call them.
Yep. You're right. I would say for those of you that want to, get as far as here.
Yeah. Sam, when he hears that, he places his hand out to like stop the other two really quick.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, follow my lead. And he unties his bandana from around his neck, folds it up into like a little bit of a kerchief kind of shape, places it over his mouth, and he steps forward and starts going, I can't hardly breathe.
Furfoot immediately follows his lead. Almost coughing up a hairball in the process. Like, you could see them going a little too far with a bit. They take the gag off for 1 second. They put one hand on their thigh. They're, like, squatting a little bit. They have, like, one finger in the air. Like, wait a minute. Quickly cough up a hairball. Put the rag back over their mouth and continue coughing.
I love the idea of Furfoot stepping out, going, and then, like, actually going, uh-oh. All fours on the ground, like hair kicking up on the back of their neck.
Yes, exactly.
Like
as much as they don't want to admit it, they're still a cat.
And then just after a little while, after an uncomfortably long time of heaving, just eventually, it's the little one.
Continue coughing.
Did I hear Bass introduce himself in a particular way as he came through?
I would say, given as far as he got, which was there.
Remember I said Beauregard is my name, so.
Okay, perfect.
Yep, you did hear it. I would say you did hear it.
Okay, cool. Let's say that. And Sam goes, Beauregard, we've been waiting for 15 minutes trying to get to Mr. Quartermain. As he has his hand so that he's covering his face.
Yes, sir. Now, Sam, I understand it now. I had to talk to these gentlemen.
We do not like waiting, son.
I know you don't like waiting. That's why I was trying to let them know who you was.
It's been taking so damned long, son.
I had to talk to the people and let them know you were coming through there now.
Talk faster, son.
I'm trying to talk faster while you're in here.
All right. No, I like it. Be unreasonable.
Yeah, totally unreasonable.
Okay. This is where it's going to get really dicey.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we got 2 con artists right now.
Mm-hmm.
Between the two of you, between Bass and Sam, one of you needs to choose to do the bluff check, and the other may aid.
I will aid. Well, I feel like what I am doing, like by covering my mouth and doing all of this, I am actually aiding Bass. So
I'll roll the bluff check.
I'm crossing my fingers. You've had the best luck.
Can I roll? Can I cast guidance on Sam since it's free to use again?
If you could do it before.
It was, it's touch. He's one person away.
All right, no worries.
Heck. Oh,
29.
Okay, so Bass is going to get a 19. Here we go.
Please. Please, we've had such good luck this entire time. Please. You've been the one saving grace.
That's a natural 2.
Ah, nice.
I love that.
It's almost as though through the din of assaultive language that Bass and Sam have flanked these poor work-for-hire guys that they can't get a word in between Bass just saying whatever and we're like, yes sir, I'm trying to get them through, and Sam being all like, you need to get us on through here, son.
Son, why you got us through here, son? Why are you so far away?
That I am gonna say that all of these guards move to the sides, apologize, and usher you guys through.
No shot that worked. No shot.
Sam will just fully like, all right, cool.
Yeah. They're like, I'm sorry, sir. Yeah, I'm sorry to keep you waiting.
And as he gets right here to this fella here, he grabs him by the shirt and says, "What's your name, son?"
Stewart, sir.
Stewart, you will not work on this train so long as I have to save it. And I give him a shove. And
I'm sorry, sir. We didn't know.
My dear
Go
God.
through there and all that. As I get close to Bass, I'm going to make sure that they can't see me. And I will just, not super gently, but like, I'm not trying to hurt him, but I'm going to punch Bass in the shoulder and be like, great job, son.
Okay, Dugan Gang, you've managed to lie your way through that cart, and now you're at the door of another one. Bass, you're at the lead. This humble servant of Mr. Quartermain delivering his guests to their host. What do you guys do?
I mean, does everybody understand what we've done before we go across? That way I don't have to explain it any further. That way I don't have to explain the lie.
Yeah, we know what we're meant to do.
We heard
All right, we know what we're going to do. Let's go.
We were listening.
All right. Yeah, Furfoot, if you want, feel free to do another stealth check. You guys did have to expose yourself in order to maintain the lie.
Right.
So, stealth check again.
If
Furfoot wants to. Wait, no.
Oh my God,
I
I
was
got
going to
the
ask,
20.
are we dropping the coal mine
Oh, no, I'm
angle?
I'll still stick with that. I just, I didn't know.
No, you can't really stealth if you're going to be our guard.
Yeah,
are you?
no, I'm going to be the person walking us through. That's right.
I mean, you're my guard, and he, like, gives you a bit of a tap.
Furfoot, you become one with the universe,
Yes.
able to slip between the delicate shadows in the creases of your mind.
This is
Perfect
a
stealth.
natural 20 for 34 total.
For 34 total on Furfoot's stealth.
Sam
I
turns
am
around and goes,
the best.
"We're foot for go, you guys."
They're sprawled out and basically like like an A pose. Like they're just sprawled out like a cat that just got startled. They're on all fours but completely against the ground.
Whenever anybody rolls like around 35, I like to make the joke that they stealthed out of that game and have now joined a separate campaign. So be sure that the next time I GM, if I mention, and you see like a cat with a cowboy hat go by, but that was about it. Like, that's where that is.
I just
Still
come
throw it
back
to the
with
other
a
hero.
bag full of stolen goods. Where'd you get that from? Found it.
Found it.
Hey, what's that there? A smoothie.
Exactly.
What's a smoothie? I don't have any idea, but it sure does taste good.
Yeah,
How
I was
would I
gonna say, what the hell is laundry? I mean, we hand wash everything. Laundry machines ain't been invented yet.
Yeah, but it's still called laundry, ain't it?
It is,
Yep.
but he said my wife put it in the laundry.
All
He didn't
right.
say my wife cleaned it.
That's true. All right, Dugan Gang. Are you guys ready? It's on
Sam-
Bass. He's up in front.
Sam still's got his thing ready, and it's like, all right, I'm right behind you, Mr. Coltrane.
Go ahead, place yourselves as far as where Bass is. Actually, that's a great spot, Bass. Go ahead and leave yourself there.
Okay.
Guys, go ahead and file in behind him, however you want.
Sam is not hiding. He is with the thing over his face, walking right in.
You walk on in. Structurally speaking, this is a cart that is incredibly similar, if not the exact same as the one that you just went to with the other guests, except for the clientele. This is actually pretty full. There's not a single booth that doesn't have at least one person in it.
No.
And they are all very well dressed.
I'm
These
just gonna
are,
start marking stuff in.
these are all folks who have clearly either come from money or they have recently acquired big money. They're either small business owners or, again, they're Nepo babies, we'll call them.
And our security is still in the room, right? We have, how many security? We have 3 today? That was in the room we just left.
Yeah, I don't see any security in here.
There's no security in here, so I'm
The
just
rich people's car.
thinking off the game. I'm just thinking, should we try to do anything in here other than just clear the place to get to the next place?
Rob.
Because I would think,
I'm also going to
I
let you
say,
know.
if we rob, then we have a chance of blowing our cover with the folks behind us if they come in and check.
Well, Sam, so
Here's the big give
you're
and
saying
take.
this. You're saying this above game. You're not
I'm
saying this.
outside the game.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it in game.
So Sam leans in. He, with his hand, he's like, turns towards Doc and says, "Doc, be a dear and close the door."
Oh, well then, okay, he is leading the mission, so he can do that.
Doc turns around, gives a little slink, closes the door.
Sam, shall I let you step ahead of me and do what we do?
No, sir. I'm gonna need you to fall on the ground when I do this to you.
Okay.
Big apologies. And Sam
Oh,
quickly
Lord.
unsheaths his gun and pistol whips Bass.
He's all like, going for a spot.
Going for a spot.
Oh, Lord, my head.
Oh, Lord.
If we're gonna sell this, he has to hit him a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, that's why I also yelled.
Yeah, he's gonna give you a bit of a bonk.
In that case, why don't you
Performance?
give me? It's going to be performance, and I'm
Both
going
of
to
us?
say, I'm going to say, Bass, give me a bluff. Sam, give me performance.
Okay.
But more importantly, I need you to roll me a d6.
A
So
D6?
you want me to do perform and also add a d6?
Roll a separate d6.
Okay.
Do not add it.
Are we both rolling a separate D6 or just him?
Bass is doing a bluff. Sam
Okay.
is just going to
That
roll a
was
d6.
terrible roll, but and one.
All right. Okay. Sam,
Mhm.
you tell him you're going in for a spot. Get ready for a bump. Specifically those terms for Will, because I love him.
Yes.
And Will, you're going for a bump. Oh no! He hit you! You're on the back of the head! Oh god, your poor head! You hit the ground? You got 1 point of damage on you from getting bumped, from taking that spot. And
Whoa.
I'm gonna say, Sam, you clearly got everybody's attention in here, but like they see you and everybody's attention actually turns towards Bass as he's on the ground going, oh god, oh sweet Saren Ray.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna say, Bass, sell.
Oh, Lord, I can't see nothing. I don't know what's going on. I'm feeling dizzy. I'm having a hard time. I got the sweats on me. Oh, my goodness. I see the ground. There's all the carpets fading away. I don't know what's
And-
going on, Lord.
There is a elvish couple, I'm gonna say right here, and like probably somewhere in their hundreds, definitely older. The lady between the two of them, a gentleman and a lady, she leans over her chair and she says, "Are you okay, young man?"
I'll be all right. I just ain't feeling so good right now. I don't know if I can stand up.
Sam is going to put his foot down on Bass,
Mhm.
kind of hold him down,
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to give his spiel. All right, ladies, gentlemen, and all those beautiful in-betweens, we are robbing this train. I'm going to need everybody to turn out their pockets and start giving your belongings if and you don't want to end up like this poor young man here.
Give me an intimidation check.
Sure thing.
As it stands right now, so you tell the rest of the group this,
22.
and everybody in the room starts talking to each other. They're like, oh goodness, I don't know. It's strange because it's almost an entirely different reaction from what you got in the other card. In the other card, people recognize this, they see what you're doing, and they immediately like either panic or kind of get a little huffy, or they just give you what you want. these rich folks seem confused. They're not immediately handing everything over, and you can even see a couple of them. There is a pair of young human women, a pair of them, and they're actually kind of talking to each other and smiling. After you've done that, the first older gentleman, right here, a wealthy human man, he says, "Listen, son, that intimidation tactic may work for other folks on the other sides of the river, but it will not work for this glorious golden class of folk, this highest standard of citizen here." And there are folks in the room that are like, and what will happen to the Dugan Gang in the near future? Are they going to be able to con their way through the rest of the train? Are they going to be able to find all the riches that they need? Can they get these rich yuppies to take them seriously? I guess we're going to have to wait and find out in the next recording, in the next episode, or in the next season, or whatever. But I want to thank you guys for listening. Seriously, it was a lot of fun. I like getting together with my friends like this. And I hope that you guys enjoy the next episode.